stuff closely. I've never seen so many possible doomsday scenarios.
And I'm Carol Roth. I've got the final word on the Fox News Rundown.
The campaign trail attacks have become sharper, meaner. The former president has called the vice president dumb and stupid. In Oaks, Pennsylvania on Tuesday, he mocked President Biden as well.
And let me tell you, she is worse than him. And he's actually to him, but he's actually smarter than her. I never thought I'd say that.
In Greenville, North Carolina, Vice President Harris told the crowd the former president wouldn't do a recent 60 Minutes interview and won't meet her for a second debate. She asked why the former president's staff is hiding him away.
One must question, are they afraid that people will see that he is too weak and unstable to lead America?
The latest power rankings show the vice president losing a bit of momentum. It notes the former president is up a point over the vice president in the latest NBC survey. She'd previously led by 6, and she's 2 points ahead of the former president in a new ABC survey. She'd previously led by 5. The rankings also note tightening polls in swing states. A Wall Street Journal poll says Harris is ahead in Wisconsin, but only by a point, in Michigan, but only by 2, whereas Quinnipiac has found former President Trump up in Wisconsin by 2 and in Michigan by 3. The rankings move Michigan from lead Harris back to toss-up territory. Fox News anchor Neil Cavuto this week asked Harris campaign senior advisor Ian Sams Monday if she'd be doing an interview with Bret Baier if the polls hadn't tightened. Sams said they enjoy going on Fox.
It's actually kind of a stark reminder that we're not really seeing Donald Trump do very many interviews. It's been about a month now since he did a mainstream media interview.
The former president is doing a town hall tonight in Cummings, Georgia, with Fox News anchor Harris Faulkner. The focus is on women, and the questions are coming from women.
Well, first of all, I'm not going to be asking a bulk of the questions. It's going to be women.
Harris Faulkner is the host of the Faulkner Focus show on Fox News and a co-anchor of Outnumbered.
We've got a great audience here in Georgia. They have 6% of the electorate in the state of Georgia is undecided. Now, that's a lot of people considering the last time around, this state was decided by about 12,000 votes. So that's way outside that number. So you could have some of the deciders in the audience. They wouldn't know it, but if they're undecided, you bet they're part of a really, really important percentage here in Georgia. So for battleground states, it's a good place to be just to kind of take everybody's temperature. Every battleground state we have seen historically, they start to merge toward the end of the election cycle. So they may not vote exactly the same, but the percentages really start to shrink. And that's exactly what we're seeing. This is a super, super tight race. So women are the largest active registered voters, the largest number of them in our nation. So we have big numbers and we have a lot of power as voters. And so both these candidates are going to try to target, the issues that are important to women. But, sure. Jessica, all issues are important to women. So they can't just angle something and go, okay, that's a lady issue. They got to get the economy right. I mean, these candidates have to be able to show that they can make a difference. More than 70% of the country thinks that we're going in the wrong direction, no matter how they vote. So the job for former President Trump, which he has done before because he's been president before, is to get his arms around the economy and to tell this audience of women, many of whom run their households, as I do as a married mom, love my hubby. But in most things, I'm in charge when it comes to the pocketbook. And so, I want to know, how are we going to get those food prices down? And I don't want we've heard some gimmicks here recently, particularly from the left side of the political aisle on their presidential tickets. I don't need gimmicks and promises and stuff. I need for you to tell me, how are you going to attack the bottom line? Inflation has come down. Prices are still super, super high. Does anybody have a recipe here? And so that'll be one of the first issues that we hit. We're going to hit abortion. We're going to hit childcare. We're also going to hit Social Security, because that's a large voting block as well.
Yeah.
And 70.7%, I have a lot of numbers, a lot of info. More than 70% of people 65 and older in the last couple of elections have showed up to vote. That means almost everybody who's over the age of 65 is voting. That's
Wow.
a big number. That is a big number. So
Harris,
what do they need?
Let me ask you, the gender gap, if we believe the polls, is real. The former president's obviously doing a sit down with you. On the other side of the aisle, it looks like former President Obama is telling black men to question whether they're just not for her because she's a woman. We see Tim Walz with a shotgun hunting pheasants. I guess we'll find out if they're effective, but what do you make of the different optics here in addressing the gender gap?
I'll tell you, Jessica, what I don't like about that whole thing. So if for some reason the left loses, are they going to blame black people? Because I tell you what, you cannot call our name and tell us you need us, James Clyburn in South Carolina, that the congressman who comes and can carry the black vote every year in that state and get everybody started in primaries. You can't do that for the left and then blame people of color when it doesn't work out for you. So it is an odd spot to put black men in particular. And by the way, the money is green. That's their issue. Their issue is green. It's not black. It's not brown. And when you talk to black men, they will tell you, we like Trump's economy best. It delivered the lowest unemployment in 50 years for black people, particularly for black men. It's in the numbers. And so what I think about it is it's lazy politics. It's lazy identity politics. And maybe it can work for them. I mean, I don't know a lot of men who fall for the gimmicks of what they're putting down out there on this new platform, which looks just like Biden's old platform for reaching out to black men. But we'll see. We'll see what people really go for. But the voters that I'm talking with are telling me, yeah, we know the difference between a good economy and a bad economy. We had 3 years of Trump before the pandemic. We've had 3.5 years of Harris, of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. We can do the math.
Listen, the Fox News Power Rankings came out this week. The big takeaway is this, and I'm reading directly here. Harris has a 6-vote edge that includes Nebraska's 2nd district. That is important since a victory there combined with the Rust Belt battlegrounds would give her an outright win. But with so many coin flip states, this race looks like an electoral college dogfight. The presidential election moves from Harris lead to toss-up. How do you pay attention to every nook and cranny of the race? How do you think that happened, that she lost this momentum?
Well, part of it is she wasn't ready. The suit was sold, but it didn't have anybody in it yet. And so what you've seen is somebody who probably needed about a year of catch up to learn how to do all of that. Remember, she didn't get one electoral vote. She didn't get one delegate, excuse me, when she was running in the primary. She's run for president before. It didn't go well. So, I mean, this is not her first rodeo, but she's been a vice president who wasn't successful. And so she would have needed to take some time out of that job to get on the trail to really get ready for this. She didn't have a whole lot of time. So they spent time puffing her up and rather studying up Buttercup. I always tell my kids, study up Buttercup in case somebody asks you an important question. She wasn't doing that. She was doing the feels and the joy and all of that. And I like to feel good and be joyful too. But whether you feel that way or not, most people have to get up and go to work and pay their bills. And so if you can help them with that part, you might make them happy. So I think that's a lot of it. I think people have looked and they've said, yeah, we've gone to the website. We still don't see the policy now. They're trying to make up the difference. She went on a media blitz, but she did Howard Stern and the like. She's going to do Brett Baer. That'll be really the first test to see, can she stand on her feet? But you've got 20 days left. You'd have to do 20 days of hard interviews, top to bottom, 8 to 8. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. to make up for the time lost. That's why it's squeaky tight. Now, what does the other candidate have to do? Donald Trump's going to have to show some discipline. And he better start today. Because those women are not going to be easy on him. And showing discipline means you listen to the question and you answer the question that's asked and you don't go in any other direction. You talk plain to us. Look at us in the eye.
Harris, for those who watch your show, and I do almost every day,
Thank you.
We are very familiar with your voter panels. And
yes, voter voices.
You, among all of our talent at Fox News, has maybe a unique insight into undecided voters because you actually talk to them. When When it comes to former President Trump and Vice President Harris, what is your sense, briefly I know, of what these folks want to hear, this ever-dwindling number of undecided voters? What do they need to hear, want to hear from both of these people as we enter into this, 20 days left?
Are you going to deport criminals who are here that you haven't vetted? Some 425,000 of them, 13,000 convicted murderers in their own countries. When will that start? Are you going to attack the prices in a different way than just lowering, interest rates? Because that didn't immediately get anybody to buy a house because they don't have money for that. The food is still so high. What are you going to immediately do? Not some, well, down the road, you'll start to feel. We've had 3.5 years of that. And the number one question for Kamala Harris is, how are you different from Joe Biden? Because 72% of people are not happy with where the country's going. What will you do? How are you different? And she's been saying she's the same. Now she says she's different, but she hasn't said how. I would ask Trump the same question. How will you immediately change what's going on? Because it's got some momentum behind it now. We are stuck. That's what people want to know.
Very good.
It's got to make sense, and it's got to be realistic. It can't be pie in the sky.
Harris Faulkner, host, anchor of the Faulkner Focus on Fox News. Thank you for joining us, and good luck.
Thank you, Jessica. Take care.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and newstalkstl.com.
Todd is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Hi, I'm Todd, and I live in Georgia. I'm a veteran of 23 years. I love to give back to the community, whether it's my fellow veterans, some guy on the street corner. I offer what I can when I can. I started noticing that my memory was slipping, and I wanted to take proactive measures to try to help that. I saw a Prevagen commercial, and I did some research on it, and I wanted to find out, does this stuff really work? I started taking Prevagen about 3 years ago. Since taking Prevagen, I feel clearer in my thoughts, my memory has improved, and generally just more on point.
Prevagen is available in stores everywhere without a prescription, based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There is a tremendous price war in the term life industry. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man aged 45, non-smoker, can get $1 million of coverage for $75 per month, level rate for 10 years. Or a man aged 50, non-smoker, can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of $110, level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote. 1-800-908-7636. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-908-7636. Remember, 1-800-908-7636. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-smoker rate class. Exam required.
The Allman Report.
Wednesday on the Allman Report, Jim Carafano on the debacle that is the Ukraine war. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
Jamie Allman, weeknights at 8 on News Talk STL.
Hey, Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros. When Christine and I bought our new house, we knew the gutters were an issue, and after meeting the Gutter Pros team, we knew that they were right for us. Gutter Pros is your all-in-one gutter service team that offers a variety of affordable solutions, and they even offer free estimates, so there's no cost to you to find out if they are right for your home, just like they were for ours. If you're having a problem with your gutters, contact the Gutter Pros now, because with Gutter Pros, water goes where they tell it to. Call them at 314-656-7195 or visit gutterpros.com.
Are you tired of hard chlorinated water drying your skin out, tasting bad, and ruining your fixtures? Jones Air and Water Treatment has a solution to this pollution. Our Hydratech H2O leaves you with great tasting, soft water at all fixtures in your home with one unit. Call Jones Air and Water at 636-899-1040 or visit us on the web at joneswater.com. You can be a filter or buy a filter. Jones Air and Water, 636-899-1040 or joneswater.com on the web. Call us now.
How are the trees, shrubs, bushes, and all of your other valuable outdoor assets doing at your home or business? Tim Jones here to remind you that Hanson's Tree Service at hansonstree.com is your one-stop shop for all your tree care needs and so much more. From top-notch tree services to outstanding organic mulch, green resource recycling, grinding and land clearing, and more, let Hanson's team of expert insured arborists take care of your yard so it looks the best it can be as we head towards fall. Get a free quote, book an appointment today at hansonstree.com. That's hansonstree.com.
Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor. Congratulations to the awesome team at Connor Roofing for earning the 2024 National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction. Connor Roofing has now won back-to-back honors because they do outstanding work in all types of roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. We chose Connor Roofing without telling the owners, Rob and Kathy Connor. Their customer reviews are some of the best in the country. Please read them. Visit ConnorRoofing.com and request an estimate. Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor.
The latest news.
We are fighting for our families. We don't ever want to see an automation pier put over here in the United States.
We're deeply concerned about the impact that a strike could have on our supply chains.
The people of Iran should know Israel stands with you.
The Israelis decide to enter my land. The resistance forces are ready for a ground engagement.
Hurricane Helene ravaged North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida.
We're not talking about politics now. We have to all get together and get this solved.
101.9 and 94.1.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Cast could affect your favorite players. We are taking you right into the end zone with Fox Weather's exclusive weather forecasting technology and the risk of weather impact for every single game of the regular season. Listen to Storming the Field every Friday on FoxNewsPodcasts.com. Look at what's happening from the Fox News Rundown.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, October 16th. This is the Fox News Rundown. Former President Trump takes part in a Fox News town hall in Georgia focused on women's issues. A preview from Fox's Jeff Manasso.
Former President Donald Trump sits down with Fox News Channel's Harris Faulkner and takes questions from an audience in Cumming, Georgia, composed entirely of women and focusing on issues impacting them ahead of the upcoming election. The town hall airing on the Faulkner Focus on Fox at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. The discussion is set to cover the economy, abortion, immigration, and health care. That as Vice President Kamala Harris also sits down for her first formal Fox News interview with chief political anchor Bret Baier that airs on Special Report on Fox at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
And with more on the Fox News interview with Vice President Kamala Harris, here's Fox's Jessica Rosenthal.
Fox News Special Report anchor Bret Baier said he was taping the interview today in Pennsylvania following the vice president's rally. He said there are no stipulations on the questions he can ask. Fox anchor Neil Cavuto asked Vice President Harris's senior campaign advisor Ian Sams on Monday if she'd be doing the interview had polling not recently tightened.
Well, yeah, Neil, we enjoy coming on your air, and the vice president's looking forward to her interview with Bret.
He says she hopes to mention her proposal that in-home care for seniors be covered under Medicare.
These are the kind of ideas that she's talking about and looking forward to talking and answering, tough questions on Fox News about.
In a press release earlier this year, Fox noted that according to Nielsen MRI Fusion, more independent voters watch Fox over any other cable news network. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
And President Biden delivers a eulogy at a memorial service for Ethel Kennedy today at the Cathedral of St. Matthew the Apostle in Washington. I'm Sue Guzman on the Fox News Rundown.
This is the Fox News Rundown.
Is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and newstalkstl.com.
On the next,
Larry Connors, USA.
Retired Marine Lieutenant Colonel Dakota Wood on the U.S. boots on the ground in Israel, their mission, and the danger they face.
Larry Connors, USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Report cards are a good way to show how well your kids are doing in class and where they might need improvement. We at the Show Me Institute believe schools should get grades too, so parents can see how their child's school compares to others. That's why we came up with the Missouri School Rankings Project. Click on the website moschoolrankings.org and it's all there. Rankings and letter grades for all the schools in Missouri. The rankings are based on categories such as student performance in English language arts and math, ACT scores, and graduation rates. Then we take the rankings and come up with a grade point average, just like your child has. Each school and district has a grade, and the website is easy to use. And now we've added spending data for every district, so parents, taxpayers, and policymakers can see where the money is going. Don't you want to know how your child's school stacks up? Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
When you make a big promise, you have to back it up with big actions, and that's what my friends at Window World do. Mike Ferguson here from my friends at Window World. Give them a call today, 314-993-1800. They are simply the best for less, double-strength glass windows that have a lifetime warranty on them. And now, for the first time ever, Window World offering 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. Get your free in-home estimate today. Give them a call, 314-993-1800.
Getting new flooring can be exciting, or it can be a hassle. To make sure you have a great experience, use Michael's Flooring, like I did. Hi, it's Susie Moore, and Michael's Flooring has become my go-to for quality, variety, and an all-around great experience. They've been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, natural stone, luxury vinyl, it doesn't matter. Michael's Flooring is ready to help. 3 locations to pick from: St. Peter's, Dardine Prairie, and Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloor.com. That's igotfloor.com.
The O'Reilly Update, brought to you by Seavers JCB. Visit them at their St. Peter's location.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, are you feeling the impact of the recent changes in the timeshare industry? My friends at Lone Star Transfer are the only company I trust to help you. For more than a decade, they have successfully helped over 20,000 owners get out of their timeshare with an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau. Customer service is their priority. For a free consultation and a guaranteed solution, 855-551-7066 or go to LoneStarTransfer.com. On this Wednesday, Vice President Harris will get much attention today when she sits for a rather short interview with Fox News in Philadelphia. Obviously, Ms. Harris needs to do well, and that will require her to answer directly, not rummage around trying to avoid specifics as she has been doing. Brett Baer will be the interrogator, and this is not an easy gig. FNC viewers will expect Mr. Baer to be tough. That is, telling the VP directly if she does not address the questions that she is dodging. You absolutely have to say those words. Baer, not an opinion guy, so no one should expect a confrontation, but he must accurately report exactly what Ms. Harris is doing. Again, if she dodges, maybe a miracle will occur and she will finally answer straightforward questions. I doubt it, but it could happen. God is good. I had a similar experience to this with Senator Barack Obama in 2008. He agreed to sit down with me in York, Pennsylvania to gin up his campaign against Senator John McCain. But Mr. Obama is far more articulate than Ms. Harris and understood he was in a no-spin zone, so he answered the questions and the chat went well. No one was arrested. Today, there will be more pressure on Baer than Kamala. He must pose fact-based questions and call her out if she doesn't answer. Tough spot. Back after this. If you own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles, listen up. Car Shield is a low-cost monthly vehicle protection plan now available to you. This protection plan is at an all-time low price. Please call 800-925-7584 for a free quote. Drivers who activate today will also receive free roadside assistance and towing at no additional cost. That is 800-925-7584 right now. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
After the coldest morning since April, sunny skies will help us climb to about 61 this afternoon in St. Louis. Just a light breeze out of the northwest. Another cold night tonight as we dip to 39 early Thursday morning, but rural areas will be flirting with freezing again, and some frost is possible. But boy, Thursday afternoon, we bounce back to 69 under sunny skies, and then highs in the 70s from Friday through the upcoming weekend. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
When it's important to you,
they always discuss the most important topics.
It's on News Talk STL.
The people of Iran should know Israel stands with you.
If the Israelis decide to enter by land, the resistance forces are ready for a ground engagement.
Hurricane Helene ravaged North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida.
News, analysis, opinion.
We're not talking about politics now. We have to all get together and get this solved.
Number one for live and local conservative talk.
My talk station.
News Talk STL. Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Having your first cup of coffee? Mike's on his third. This is Mike Ferguson in the Morning on News Talk STL.
Good morning from Nadine's. Hey, we are here at Nadine's Hash House in Soulard, and the doors are going to open here to the public in about 25 minutes or so. And I'm telling you right now, the coffee is good. The food smells fantastic. They're getting ready to open up the entire diner here. We'd love to have you come by. We're going to be here until 9 o'clock. All right, I'm Mike Ferguson. Got Gabe Pfeiffer here as well. Stell, of course, in the studio making it happen there. But seriously, come on out. And it's going to be a great time. We're doing the show all day from Nadine's, actually all morning here as well. And it's open. It's open to you starting at 6 o'clock. All right, Amendment 3, obviously we've covered that a lot on the program, not just because of the effect it would have here in the St. Louis area, but because of the effect it would have not just around the state, but really the gut punch it would have to a civilized culture. And as you know, last week, Bill O'Reilly caught wind of this and gave it the spotlight on his national broadcast. And Bill was nice enough to join us on Tuesday's program talking about not just Amendment 3 and what caught his eye about it, but the bigger picture that's at stake. And here's what Bill had to tell us.
I wanted to reach out. We wanted to reach out because, this Amendment 3 caught your attention with your national broadcast. And I was really thankful that you put the word out on such a large scale, because the people who listen intently to, for instance, a conservative local show like this, they know about Amendment 3, but you've got a bigger reach than we're going to obviously have at any point. When you saw what's happening with Amendment 3, what was it that jumped out at you that said, I've got to put my voice behind letting people know this is just horrible? And I love the line you said, I couldn't imagine the good people of Missouri voting for it. I'm not worried about the good people. I'm worried about the people who haven't been told all the details of it yet.
Well, that's a key, Mike. When I do promotion for my new book, Confronting the Presidents, I get asked about politics. I get asked about individual states and their policies. And that's what happened in Missouri Prop 3. So we're talking about, how the country's evolved and the various presidents I write about in the book, 45 of them. And it came up that Missouri, a traditionally conservative state, is locked into this battle about abortion. So we analyzed the situation, and here's the problem in Missouri. It's being portrayed by the left, and you have to understand a mindset here. This is George Soros pumping money in there, ACLU. These are the real radical leftists. It's being portrayed as freedom, reproductive freedom. That's the banner. And it's misleading because it's a complicated issue. There are a lot of different things in this proposition, and they're not spelled out the way they should be. Let me give you the biggest one. If the proposition passes, anybody can have an abortion at any time for any reason in Missouri. That's up to birth. Really? Is that what you guys want out there? That is California and New York stuff. Secondly, if you're a Catholic and you own a hospital, and a lot of Catholic hospitals, Springfield will force you to, have abortions in your hospital. So it's crazy. That's against the Constitution. That would be absolutely filed in a federal court. But it's a mess. And then you have underage abortions. What about those? What about a law? Is the law in Missouri going to say that if you have a 14-year-old daughter and that daughter has an abortion, there's no right to let you, the parent, know about it? Is that what's going to be in play? So this whole thing is a charade. And it might be successful if the other side starts to raise these questions and say, look, this isn't freedom. It's not reproductive freedom. This is unfettered abortion. This is an intrusion on the Constitution of force religious people who don't believe in abortion to pay for it. And what about your kids? If the opponents of Prop 3 get into that, then Missouri will vote it down. If they don't, the propagandists may win.
Yeah, and is that what you meant when you said this is red China stuff? Because that's the argument they're making is, this is freedom. Missouri has radical pro-life laws, and they're lying about the laws that are in effect right now. But it jumped out at me when you said this is red China stuff. Explain what you mean by that, because here's the thing, Bill. There are so many people, good people, the ones you described, are afraid to engage in a conversation with something as touchy as abortion when we have so much at stake that's even beyond anything in a doctor's office with this.
All right. Happy to do it, Mike. And I have to correct myself. I meant to say Jefferson City, not Springfield. Springfield's your neighbor. But Jefferson City would impose all of these things on people. There are only 3 countries in the world, only 3, that allow unfettered abortion up to birth. Nobody knows that. They are Canada, Singapore, and Holland, the Netherlands. I don't count communist countries because there are no laws protecting human life in any communist country. None. So 3 non-communist countries in the entire world have what Missouri would have if Prop 3 passes. Why? Because most people on the planet understand that there has to be limitations when you eliminate a potential human being. All right? So if you read my book, Killing the SS, you'll understand the mindset of the fascists, Nazi Germany, and the communists, because they're both the same. They don't have any value for human life at all. They just throw it away. You don't want it? Kill it. We don't want to see it. Is that what we want to be in Missouri? You want to be that? And that's why I use red China. That's red China stuff. If you want an abortion in red China, the government will say, okay, fine. All right, whatever you want to do is good, because we don't care about human life. And they don't. They don't. So I don't know if Missouri wants to be in that category.
Yeah, and I love that you brought up the parental consent, because to me, this should be something that even those people who say, the people are kind of they want to be in that squishy middle, and they say, well, I don't support abortion, but I don't want the government, that sort of thing. I would hope that when people understand this eliminates not just even parental consent, but parental notification. I think that goes to your point, Bill, about this being about a much bigger agenda than just one issue of abortion.
That's huge. because then you're going to get into the trans stuff, gender blockers, and the parents got no right to know what their kids are doing when the kid has to come home every night. And look, if you're 14 years old, you have an abortion, you're going to be an emotional mess. I'm sorry, ACLU. I know you don't give a fig. You don't care about those 14-year-olds, but I do. And their parents do. So, look, I think that Missouri's abortion law as it stands is too restrictive. And I don't believe in abortion. I'm a Roman Catholic. But I think that if you don't have rape or incest in there, you're asking for trouble, and that's what you got. So the extremists are using that to push the total opposite now. And the legislature, state legislature in Jefferson City, is taking a hard look at making a fair law. And if they do that, they'll wipe this out. But it's too late to do it now. So people have got to say, whoa, we're not going to pass this, but we do want our legislature to take a look and impose a little bit more fairness on this very volatile situation.
All right, the voice you're hearing, obviously, you know it. It is Bill O'Reilly. So let's talk about the messaging to those people because, and I'm going to go back and once again reference when you said you can't imagine the good people of Missouri passing Amendment 3. And again, I agree the good people aren't going to, but there's a whole lot of people who are overwhelmed with the confusion and the chaos that comes from the Soros types and all of this, money that we've now know is coming from literally outside the country in here. So the people who are getting overwhelmed by the arguments over what Missouri law is right now, and they're saying, no, what you're saying about Amendment 3 just isn't true. That's all fear mongering, when the truth is it's pretty scary. How do we relate to those people so that they're not only seeing what it actually is, but empowered to go out and say, hey, even if you're in the middle somewhere on this, this ain't it?
Well, it's individual courage. I don't know how you do it other than make it clear that there is a right and a wrong in this world, and this is wrong. And I think that's what you got to do. You can mobilize to a certain extent, and there are people fighting against Prop 3. One of my friends lives outside of St. Louis, and he has mobilized a bunch of Catholics to oppose it. But the big money is unfettered abortion coming in from out of state, the Soros crew. It is a brawl. And you're not going to get any help by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. That's ridiculous, right? So you got to go into the countryside. I don't know who leads the fight. I don't know. When I equate it to, look, I wrote this book, Confronting the President's #1 New York Times list. You know the drill, all right? Everybody should read the book. If you love your country, want to know about your country. When you read the book, you're going to see that good leaders, presidents, can change how the country is being run for the better. It's as simple as that. So leadership in Missouri has to rise up, and they have to get the money to pay for the TV ads. That's what it's all about right now. Getting these ads on television the last 3 weeks and emphasizing the parental chaos, which is just, if you guys go down that road, then you're California.
Right.
You really want to be California? I don't think Missourians do.
Yeah, I think so. Once again, Bill O'Reilly, you can hear him twice a day right here on News Talk STL, the new book, Confronting the President's No-Spin Assessments from Washington to Biden, which is available now. And we're going to put this up in the News Talk STL book club on our website and get that out there as well. And Bill, thank you so much, not even just for being on the show here. When I saw your commentary on it on the national broadcast, I was just really, really thankful that you put such a harsh spotlight on this, because a lot of people are thinking, well, here's our little Missouri political battle, and it is about so much more than that. And I really appreciate you giving voice to that.
Yeah, that's why we do the No Spin News every night on BillO'Reilly.com, and now we are the most successful independent news agency in the world, not just the country. You got to take a stand, Mike, just like you're doing right now. You have to. If you're a good person, you have to look at it unemotionally and say, this is not right. And if Missourians get the message, I'm confident this prop will go down.
All right, we've got the first morning news dump of the day coming your way here in just a couple of minutes here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. And then, of course, doors open right around 6 o'clock here at Nadine's Hash House. Love to have breakfast with you or have coffee with you. Come on by and say hi. We're going to be here until 9 o'clock.
For podcast articles and more, find us on newstalkstl.com. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All the information I need on the drive to work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. I keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis's #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
She learned the value of hard work and responsibility at her family's small business at an early age. Ann Wagner took those same hard-working Missouri values to Washington. She's made it her job to keep the radical left from harming your job. Today, in the midst of Joe Biden's out-of-control inflation, Ann Wagner protects us by working to lower costs for families. As a mother of 3, she understands the work and has done it to keep your home and community safe. That's why Ann Wagner fought to secure our border and stop traffickers from smuggling fentanyl and illegal immigrants into our communities, and why she gave law enforcement the tools they need to defend us. And Ann Wagner took a stand against the defund the police radicals who will leave us in harm's way. She'll always back our brave law enforcement officers, putting conservative values to work for us. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Mom and Dad worked hard all their lives. I hoped their retirement years would be easy, but as they got older, they needed help. So I called Right at Home. They're experts in navigating the aging journey and have a unique 5-step approach to in-home care. Right at Home created a custom care plan for my parents. Now they get support, and I have peace of mind. If your parent or loved one needs in-home care, call Right at Home St. Louis or visit athomestlouis.com.
Looking for a top-quality tactical gear and expert advice? Look no further than Discount Tactical, your one-stop shop for all things firearms and self-defense. Located in the heart of Warrenton, we've been serving the community for 3 years with our friendly, professional, and knowledgeable staff. From custom AR builds and silencers to the largest selection of parts, we've got you covered. Self-defense weapons, SBRs, knives, ammo, custom holsters, weapon lights, optics, and body armor. Discount Tactical. Online at discounttacticalarmory.com or stop by today and gear up with confidence.
My friend, death is certain. Are you prepared? Larry Connors here. I don't want to scare you, but your funeral plans are an important conversation you need to have with your spouse, family, other loved ones. My friend Benjamin Schaefer at Senior Memorial can help find you an affordable final expense life insurance policy, regardless of your health condition. You could qualify up to $30,000 of lifetime coverage. Life insurance plans with Senior Memorial also offer living benefits towards hearing and diabetic supplies, access to a 24-hour teledoc service, discounts on urns, caskets, tombstones. Call my friend Benjamin at Senior Memorial and discover your legacy at 314-866-8886 or visit memorialplans.com. Memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial Heritage Protection.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Download the News Talk STL app.
Love the News Talk STL app.
On my way to work in the morning.
Usually I'm in the car.
I listen on the app in my car every morning going to work.
Download the News Talk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere.
Hi, it's Randy Tobler here. Pour a big cup of coffee and catch my show every Saturday morning from 6 to 9. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning here on News Talk STL.
Maybe I'm just weird, but it's always a good day when we start off with a little bit of a King's X.
Oh, well, yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
All right. Greetings from Nadine's Hash House in the Soulard neighborhood in St. Louis. Doors are going to open here for breakfast in just about 9 minutes or 8 minutes now. So come on out and say hi and grab a cup of coffee or some food. Love to have you out there. I am Mike Ferguson. Got Gabe Pfeiffer here. Joey V running things here at Nadine's. And, of course, Stella in the studio. The school board reconsiders and then fires the boss anyway. You know what, guys? I am in the media, and I don't trust the media. So how many agree with me? There is a survey. We're going to talk about that. And Blues and Battlehawks, we've got updates on both. Let's go ahead and get started with some
morning news dump. Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks.
The morning news dump.
All right, Israel gets a notice from the Biden administration. Make sure more so-called humanitarian aid gets into Gaza or possibly have weapons sales and other supplies reduced or even cut off. This is White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby talking about the letter that was sent over to Israel.
This particular letter that we're talking about now follows a relatively recent decrease in humanitarian assistance reaching the people of Gaza. Which is obviously something we've been very, very concerned about since the beginning of the conflict.
And the White House has given Israel a 30-day ultimatum. And Gabe, we know that Hamas is intercepting a tremendous amount of the so-called humanitarian aid. So this is once again the Biden administration apparently looking for ways to try to abandon Israel and still not take a political hit.
Oh yeah, I mean we've seen video of the Hamas terrorists basically shooting at their own people who are trying desperately to get to the help that's now going to the Hamas fighters. So basically the Biden administration is telling Israel to continue to support and fund their enemy while in battle.
Precisely. All right. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper giving an update on the number of missing people in the state following Hurricane Helene's devastation. He was at a press conference in Raleigh.
As of today, the task force number of unaccounted for people is 92. The task force, law enforcement, and other partners will continue working to locate those who are unaccounted for.
And at least 251 people across 7 states were killed as a result of Helene. Just unbelievable devastation still to be cleaned up. All right, it is official, guys. The St. Louis Board of Education gives Superintendent Keisha Scarlett the boot again.
Again.
After putting her on leave in July and then originally voting to fire her last month, Scarlett contested the decision and an evidentiary hearing was held earlier this week. The board then voted again to terminate her effective immediately. In just 1 year under her leadership, the district went from having a $17 million surplus to having a deficit of over $30 million and a student transportation system in shambles. That is basically a Brewster's Millions type of effort to spend a lot of money.
Absolutely. Well, she beat Brewster, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, my goodness. All right. Trust in the media has reached a new low, apparently.
A new Gallup poll reveals that Americans have serious doubts about the news media. 1/3 of those surveyed have no trust at all in the media to report the news fully, accurately, and fairly. And another third of Americans express not very much confidence. According to Gallup, the news media is the least trusted group among civic and political institutions, ranking just below Congress. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Yeah, when you're trusted less than Congress, you should do some self-reevaluation, I'm just saying.
I would argue that it should be lower.
Yeah, I'm about basically just under a third of Americans say I trust the media. Who are those third?
That's my question. It's like, what are you watching?
And what's wrong with them?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. All right, a couple sports notes here. The Blues lost their home opener at Enterprise on Tuesday. Final score against Minnesota was 4-1. Blues are at home again tomorrow hosting the Islanders. By the way, last night, the Wild kind of added one on with 9 seconds left. Their goalie actually flipped a wrist shot basically across the entire
to the
ring.
empty net.
Yeah, the empty net.
Wow.
That was the fourth one. So really it was a 3-1 game, but they tacked on the one because the goalie, wanted to have his goal there.
Got to get a stat.
All right, the Battlehawks season tickets for the 2025 season are now on sale. When you break it down per game, ticket packages start around $18 per game in the upper levels. Season ticket holders also get a variety of other perks as well, including discounts at the UFL's shop, uflbattlehawks.com/tickets for more information.
For over 50 years, Di Gregorio's Italian Market has been serving up a taste of Italy right here in St. Louis. Family owned and operated, nestled in the heart of the hill. From homemade sausage and meatballs to spadini, pizzas, pastas, and sauces, our wide variety of Italian specialties will transport your taste buds straight to Rome. For a truly authentic Italian shopping experience, visit your friends at Di Gregorio's. Shop local, shop Di Gregorio's Italian Market, where every bite tells a story.
Ready to cut a deal? Your new John Deere compact tractor is waiting at Seidenstricker Novi Partners. Get 0% financing for 84 months with zero down, or get 0% financing for 60 months, plus save up to an additional $2,000 on select compact tractors. Come see us at one of our 28 locations or visit us online at snpartners.com and let's cut a deal today. Seidenstricker Novi, your partner for the land.
Offer valid through 10/25/2024. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
For over half a century, Joe Bacardi's has been serving up a little taste of Italy right here in St. Louis. Family owned since 1971, we're more than just a restaurant. We're a local landmark. With 4 convenient locations, we offer something for everyone, from our famous pizzas to mouth-watering entrees and delicious salads. Dine in with a glass of wine or grab a quick carryout. Whether it's dinner for 2 or catering for a crowd, Joe Bacardi's has you covered. Visit joebacardis.com and join our loyalty program. Joe Bacardi's, where every meal ends with buon appetito.
Man, what a great party you're throwing here. This wasp nest is great.
Yeah, man, we got about 70 wasps in here.
Too bad we can't fit any more wasps in here. It looks like they're having fun outside, stinging all the kids. Oh, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888. Learn more about our special $67 offer. You can visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss as part of our lineup every week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on News Talk STL. And in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. Officials in 2 states hit hard by Hurricanes Helene and Milton say they're making good progress in recovery efforts. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
We've now had over 4 million accounts restored to power since Hurricane Milton came. That is the fastest that's ever been done for that many accounts.
In North Carolina, Governor Roy Cooper also delivered a positive update.
Power outages are now a little under 13,000, down from 1 million at the beginning. Closed roads are at 580, down from about 1,200.
Despite the progress, tens of thousands of students in the Southeast are dealing with school disruptions. Some districts have no idea when they will reopen. Online learning is not an option in areas where the internet and cell phone service remain a problem. The coffers have run dry at a government agency that offers disaster loan assistance.
The Small Business Administration has run out of money for its disaster assistance loans, delaying much-needed relief for people applying for aid in the wake of the destruction caused by Hurricanes Helene and Milton. The SBA offers economic injury disaster loans to businesses and people affected by disasters. Congress can approve more funds, but Congress does not reconvene until November 12th. The SBA is pausing new loan offers until it gets more funding, but urges people to keep applying for the loans in the meantime. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Ukrainian President Zelensky is set to unveil a blueprint for his country's victory in the war against Russia. The plan will be shared with the parliament later today. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Do you just grin and bear it or bite the bullet when it comes to everyday pain? Don't. Try Relief Factor, a drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free. It's developed by doctors. In 3 weeks or less, you'll know whether it works for you like it works for me. Try Relief Factor for yourself. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
The Pope is dead. From Focus Features comes the electrifying new film, Conclave. We're about to choose the most famous man in the world. Based on the international best-selling thriller. The Pope discovered something before he died. Ray Fiennes, Stanley Tucci. Ambition becomes corruption. John Lithgow and Isabella Rossellini.
We sisters have eyes and ears.
Top critics are raving. Conclave is hands down the best picture of the year. I had to find the truth. Conclave, rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Only in theaters up.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
After the coldest morning since April, sunny skies will help us climb to about 61 this afternoon in St. Louis. Just a light breeze out of the northwest. Another cold night tonight as we dip to 39 early Thursday morning, but rural areas will be flirting with freezing again, and some frost is possible. But boy, Thursday afternoon, we bounce back to 69 under sunny skies, and then highs in the 70s from Friday through the upcoming weekend. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Senior Memorial. With the average funeral bill being over $9,000, are your loved ones prepared? Call 314-866-8886 or memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial Heritage Protection.
No. Is your computer giving you headaches? Make it happy again with Jeff Computers. For 30 years, this locally and family-owned business has been the St. Louis area's trusted one-stop shop for cybersecurity, managed IT, and data recovery services. Choose the experts at Jeff Computers. They offer computer protection plans and can recover your lost or damaged data. Visit them in Ellisville or call 636-256-7901. Online at jeffcomputers.com and tell them News Talk STL sent you.
Missouri's Amendment 3 is cleverly worded to convince you that it only allows abortions until fetal viability. But it has loopholes that allow for abortions through all 9 months of pregnancy. Abortion proponents used to say safe, legal, and rare. But now they want abortion as common as the morning after pill. Plus, minor-age children will have access to sex change surgeries without parental consent. Vote no on Amendment 3.
Paid for by Leadership for America PAC, John B. Royal Treasurer.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
I want to know one thing. Where's the Republican outrage?
Live and local.
And how worked up are you news and political junkies for this one at this point?
This is News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
It's a miracle we're not in prison.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
Are you kidding me?
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm? Get up, St. Louis.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL. Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
Good morning to the people of St. Louis.
All right, signs of the times with the economy, and at least one pharmacy in St. Louis already getting word that they're going to be shut down. Also, in the city, we've had this reparations commission doing the important work.
Yeah,
such
absolutely.
the important work.
I mean, I'm sad that I didn't get a call, but it is
Well,
what it
there's
is.
time.
It is what it is.
So we'll give you some basics of what they are recommending in their final report here in a minute. I didn't see your name specifically, Gabe.
Okay, all right.
But the thing is it's interesting because I found a report on Channel 4's website, but I looked in the city's website where the reparations commission area is, and I can't find the updated report itself. So there's very, very little information that's available publicly unless somebody's got a link that I can't find. I'm sure they'll publish it at some point, but we've got a couple of basics. All right, it is 6:06 right now. I'm Mike Ferguson. Joey V and Gabe and I are out here at Nadine's Hash House in the Soulard neighborhood here in St. Louis. They normally don't open up till 7 o'clock, but for News Talk STL and the News Talk STL family, we're open now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am on my second cup of coffee, so come on out.
I'm still on my first. Here, cheers.
That's right. The kitchen is open. Breakfast is being served. Come on in. I'm going to get myself some eggs here and some stuff in just a little bit as
Do
well.
not take the mugs; they are not complimentary.
No, you can buy one though.
You can buy them though.
Yeah, if you go to at AVP Radio Show, I posted a picture of the mug there, so you can see it. Good stuff.
Yep.
All right, number here 314-912-1019. All right, real quick here, Walgreens has announced that they are closing 1,200 locations across the country.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, I mean that's just you think about it. I mean, I use a Walgreens near my house, you know, and they're basically they've become essentially convenience stores that's more expensive.
Yeah, they're very expensive convenience stores. Absolutely.
But when it comes to the pharmacy, this could be a problem for obviously a lot of people. We do know that at least one Walgreens in the St. Louis region is going to be closing. My guess is there will probably be several, 1,200 across the country. There's going to be more, but the Walgreens on South Broadway in South City is going to close next month.
See, and that one makes the most sense. When within driving distance of my house, there are like 4 Walgreens.
Right.
You know,
Right.
they're just kind of spread out in their intersecting zones. But there's I think within those 4, there's one that locks up the deodorant. We'll say it that way. So
Right.
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I imagine it's 10 times worse at that location. So it makes sense that would be among the closures.
I've already seen an ad that you can have Amazon deliver your meds
right
at this point. And
so then it begs the question, how important is the neighborhood pharmacy?
Is the actual local pharmacy. Now, here's the thing, though, is an actual pharmacist. I've had times where I've had a pharmacist catch something and go, oh, wait a minute, don't take these at the same time.
Bad
You know,
interactions,
so that we are losing something with that.
True.
And so I don't know what the future is going to look like, particularly those who are older and in a lot of particularly economically less affluent areas, shall we say? That's going to be a problem. But for instance, some of the just blood pressure stuff that I'm on, I got a prescription on a FaceTime appointment with some doctor, and I don't even know where she lives.
Right.
You know, and she's like, I can do 30 days under this, you know, Missouri law, and then I had to go find the doctor, which I found in St. Charles. But basically, things are changing to where we're not going to need these bricks and mortars anymore. And obviously, that means jobs and all that sort of thing. But the pharmacy stores like Walgreens and CVS and Rite Aid and all those sorts of things, they're ending up in grocery stores anyway. They're ending up in Walmarts anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's been a lot of kind of cross pollination with certain areas because they realize, well, everybody's going to the Walmart anyway.
Yeah.
It's the gigantic superstore. It's got a big footprint, so they put a bank in there, a cash checking place, a Subway, and now a pharmacy. They're all there.
Right.
So becoming a one-stop shop, if you are going to do the brick and mortar thing, seems to be the way things are going.
Yeah. By the way, right around 6:20 or so, there's an interesting survey. Lifeway, which does a lot of surveys on religious matters in the country, they asked pastors across the country, who are you supporting, and will you be saying that from the pulpit?
Right.
And so at 6:20, I'm going to give you some of those results, and some of them may surprise you. But then the question I'm going to put out there, so you can put it on the Facebook comments or Rumble chat box, or give us a call. Do you want your clergy? Do you want your pastor, your priest, your rabbi? Do you want them giving their hot take on candidates or other political issues from the pulpit? Because some people are saying churches need to be more engaged. Others are saying, no, keep your mouth shut, separation of church and state. I want to talk about that at 6:20 because honestly, some of these survey results really surprised me. Gabe.
Okay, yeah.
They really did.
Yeah, because it breaks it down by denomination and things like that, right?
Right, it
Okay.
does.
So
That's what surprised me.
Right.
All right, so we'll do that around 6:20. Just want to put that kind of idea in your head there so you can start sending in your thoughts and comments on that. The St. Louis Reparations Commission. Yeah, so
those guys.
Yeah, they held their last meeting already. And
it reminds me of my house where the kids would vote for what to have for breakfast, and it was always cake.
Exactly. Okay, so here's the thing, though, is I even went directly to the city's website and the Reparations Commission pages, and I can't find the actual final recommendations,
like their final report.
Right, the document itself. I
It should
can't
be a
find
report.
Right. And I'm sure it will be published, but I can't. But somehow Channel 4 has a very brief description of some of their recommendations. There's no link to anything here, just that. So here's what's being reported. The commission recommends payments to anybody in the city who can trace their ancestry back to slavery, or payments to anybody who is a current or former Black, capital B, resident. So
wait, or and
current or former Black residents. I think they mean former residents, not formerly Black. I'm pretty sure that if you were Black before, you're Black now.
I mean, I've had my Black card taken from me by Democrats. They often do that. But I'm questioning is the ancestry thing and a resident? So you must be a resident and have the ancestry?
No,
or just the ancestry?
It's or so anybody.
So why bother?
Yeah, anybody in the city,
right,
who can trace their ancestry back to slavery, or someone who's a current or former Black resident. And it's calling for payments of up to $25,000 for former residents or their direct descendants of the Pruitt IGO housing project, or the Mill Creek Valley neighborhood, which obviously had a lot of issues on there.
Right.
So they, but get this. I'm just going to read this report verbatim here, word for word.
Please do.
On Channel 4. The commission wants the city to use police funds.
Oh no, really?
You didn't even let me finish, Gabe.
Come on, though.
Maybe I'm about to read to increase patrols and improve public safety by making up all of those deficient staffing. Maybe that's what I'm going to say.
But this is the reparations committee.
All right, you're right. Okay, so what it actually says is the commission wants the city to use police funds on restorative justice programs or mental health response teams.
Oh my gosh, here we go again. This is the more defund the police type stuff.
Precisely.
That's all
that's
is.
what it is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It also wants Missouri to expunge the records of anybody convicted of a non-violent crime due to racial injustice, such as drug crimes.
Wait, what?
Right.
How do you define due to racial injustice?
I think that maybe they're going to argue that nonviolent drug crimes, marijuana possession, stuff like that is inherently racially unjust.
I mean, you can make the argument. Well, here's the thing. I could actually make the argument for expunging the records of nonviolent felons whose only crime started with possession of marijuana.
I agree. I say expunge them.
Yeah, because we've kind of done the law thing. Basically, there are people in prison now who would not be if the law had passed earlier, kind of thing. So it's like, what, that's fine. But to say that it's specifically there's a racial component there, and then that this is restorative justice, well, that kind of
right. And but this is what Channel 4 is reporting.
All right.
Using specifically police funds.
That's the other half of it.
For restorative justice or mental health response teams.
Restorative justice. Yeah, every time there's an adjective before justice in our public discourse, I'm very, very skeptical. We'll say it that way.
Precisely. So that's where we are with that. Now at this point, it's the Board of Aldermen, it's the mayor.
Yeah.
They're going to decide what to do with those, because you've got Rams money, and you've got, if you're talking about $25,000 payout per person. I happen to notice this in election year. So, and then in April, there's another set of municipal elections. So there's definitely an incentive to hand out a lot of other people's money.
Yeah, a little bribing going on, basically.
But the good news is that if you just cut the checks to people based on the color of their skin, all of our racial problems go away, all of our crime problems go away, and we just buy it off and we're done. And then everybody is one big happy family.
That's right. Because if you came across these massive groups of racial grievance mongers,
right,
and you gave them a check with their name on it, this is the shut up check, right? And you're not allowed to talk about your racial grievances anymore because we paid you off. I'm sure that would happen, Mike. I'm sure that's how that would go.
That's how that goes.
Yeah,
all right. 314-912-1019. We are at Nadine's Hash House in Soulard in the city. So come on out and say hi. We got a lot of folks coming in already. Grabbing some coffee, grabbing some breakfast. Just ahead here, you want your pastor speaking up about politics? I got mixed feelings on it. I think there are
There's what I think should be done, and I think there's what should be allowed to be done. Two separate things. Let's talk about that right around 6:20 here on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL.
Before you blow us all.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Get up, get up. Can't you hear the alarm? Get up, get up. This is your cousin. Get up, what are you waiting for?
Looking for an underwater adventure or a scaly new friend? Dive into Tropical World Pets on Watson Road. For 32 years, this family-owned wonderland has been St. Louis's go-to destination for all things aquatic and reptilian. With over 7,000 square feet of aquariums, we're home to the area's largest selection of freshwater fish, including rare cichlids you won't find anywhere else. But that's not all. We've got tarantulas, snakes, and lizards galore. Tropical World Pets, 314-849-4020, or visit twpstl.com.
History, wine, spirits, food, and music, plus an awesome name. That's the Old House in Hog Hollow. This beautiful historic home's been turned into a wine bar and event venue that can host any and all of your gatherings. Take a tour while enjoying a glass of wine and see all the original features that are still around from the 1850s. Open Thursday through Sunday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and brunch, with live music on select dates paired with wine tasting. Find them at 14319 Olive Boulevard in Chesterfield or online at oldhouseinhoghollow.com.
Looking to enhance your outdoor space? Trust Lime Concrete Block, your local expert since 1947. From Vertiblock and retaining walls to ready-mix concrete and outdoor kits, we've got all your residential and commercial needs covered. As a family-owned business, we take pride in our A+ BBB rating and industry affiliations, with special discounts for military and first responders. Whether you're a homeowner, contractor, or distributor, make a decision set in stone. Call 314-638-9940 or visit our showroom today.
Missouri, your voice matters.
Jobs and the economy are the most important issues in the coming election.
I think we need some kind of change.
The Farmers Co-op, Old Town Country Store, and News Talk STL remind you that November 5th, you have the power to shape our state and nation's future.
My vote counts.
Get out to vote November 5th, because the future is in your hands.
Everybody has the right to vote.
I do vote because I want to matter.
Get out to vote. Brought to you by the Farmers Co-op, Old Town Country Store, Washington Guard, and Tango Argentina Foods.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hey there, Tim Jones here. Make sure you join me and my buddy Chris Harps this afternoon from 4 until 6 p.m. right here on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL. Right now, let's get back to more of Mike Ferguson in the Morning.
Forgive my heart, it fell apart.
Just had some of the guys from the Soulard region of American Legion stop in, say hi. That was good to meet them. They're here getting some breakfast here at Nadine's Hash House. Mike Ferguson here, got Gabe here, got Joey V here, Stella, of course, in the studio. But come on out. Doors are open now. I know that Nadine's normally doesn't open until 7, but it's open now for breakfast.
Mike, last segment we were talking about the reparations committee meeting and discussing how their plan to use police funds to give money to people who can trace their ancestry or have lived in the city, black residents who lived in the city at some point.
The reparations commission.
The reparations commission, exactly. And listener Allison had a question. She says, how is that going to help crime in downtown?
Oh, I can answer this.
Yeah,
it won't.
That's right. Okay. All right. Moving on.
Yep.
Because that honestly, it wasn't their purpose.
Right.
Their purpose was to get goodies for themselves and their friends, basically.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, or I should say, recommend.
Right.
goodies.
Yeah. Because it's the mayor and the alderman will decide what to do.
Right.
But it's funny. This is a city that you remember about a year and a half ago, they had trash piling up 3 or 4 feet high because they couldn't get the trucks out there to pick it up.
Right.
I'm driving here to Nadine's and kind of weaving through some potholes in there. In some of the areas as not quite here at this part of Broadway. And by the way, we are at 1802 South Broadway. So come on out. And also obviously you've got underfunded emergency services as well. But to say we're going to take $25,000 per Black resident.
Yeah.
Or whatever the number ends up being, just insane. Okay, so I was looking through some of our news sources that we've got here, and one kind of jumped out at me. This is, let's see here. This is, let me see who did the story. Michael Harrington did this story here, and the question is, would you like your pastor to endorse politicians? And here's his report, which I'm going to tell you right up front is not 100% accurate in his facts here, but here's what he has to say.
The fact is, if a clergyman promotes a candidate for office from the pulpit, he puts the church's tax-exempt status at risk, and a Lifeway research poll finds 98% of preachers never do it. However, the same poll indicates nearly 1/3 of Americans see no problem with a pastor urging people to vote for a particular politician during his sermon. 45% don't mind clergy endorsements so long as they happen outside of church. Michael Harrington, SRN News.
All right, I know what Harrington is saying, but here's the thing: is that actually you do not put your tax exempt status at risk,
right?
If you get involved in politics from the pulpit. That's there are threats.
Yes, we've seen the threats.
We see the threats, yeah,
but none of them have ever come to fruition.
Right. So that begs 2 questions here. One is, should churches or pastors be allowed to make endorsements from the pulpit
by law? You're saying
you're right
in terms of allowed, the word, yeah.
And the second is, do you want them to?
Right.
Lifeway did this research, and Lifeway is pretty good when they're doing. Basically, they research and do surveys on matters of theology and religion and overall faith. Barna is probably the best when it comes to surveying, but Lifeway is pretty good.
Okay.
I personally am of the belief that the First Amendment is not dependent upon whether or not you pay taxes to the state or federal or local government.
Right. There's no user-free fee for the First Amendment.
Right. Now, having said that, do I want a pastor at a church I'm at giving an endorsement, a partisan endorsement? Not particularly in individual races. I personally don't want that, but I would not like threaten a church. If there's a overtly political church, so be it. That's the marketplace of ideas. I can go somewhere else if I don't like your endorsement. That's
there are so many churches. You're not going to be without other options.
The last church that Rachel and I attended for quite some time, I finally got up and walked out literally in the middle of a sermon after just getting tired of all the left-wing nonsense of the church.
Right.
So I walked out. Do I think that somebody should go after them for being a left-wing church? Absolutely not.
No, because left-wingers who want to go to church need to someplace.
I don't know what they worship, but
exactly.
That's a whole other thing.
That's the whole other thing.
But then here's the thing. You look at the survey here.
I'm really curious. Setting this up.
So 97% of Protestant pastors in the U.S. plan to vote. So 3% say they're not going to vote.
Well, that's actually
97%. Yeah,
that they actually participating personally.
About a quarter of those surveyed would not say to the survey who they're going to vote for, which is a lot more than in the past. So a lot of pastors are being more guarded about their politics at this point. So of those who shared their preferences, now remember, we're talking about Protestants now, half of them say they are voting for Donald Trump.
Okay.
24% say they're voting for Kamala Harris. 23% say they are undecided. And then when you look at more of the numbers here, that's a 2020 election. Okay. So right now, pastors are less likely to be solidly supportive of either major party. So 60-ish, 61% of Protestants, say they lean toward voting for Trump if the election were held today. 37% would choose Harris. These are just anything considered Protestant.
Right.
Right.
We'll say non-Catholic.
Correct. That's usually what they mean.
Yeah.
Non-Catholic. Technically, Baptists are not Protestant, but it's included.
That's a historical thing,
right? That's a very thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so now when you get into evangelical pastors, more likely to vote for Donald Trump. 61% of evangelicals say they're going to vote for Donald Trump, and then half of mainline Protestant pastors say they're going to support Harris.
I mean, it sounds about what I would expect.
Yeah.
Certainly not what I would want. But,
well, let me ask you this: when you look at black pastors in the country, what percentage do you think are going to vote for Harris among black pastors?
I'd pretty much just do the inverse of the evangelicals, so 60-something% for Harris, and then
20-something, 71%.
Okay, so higher.
71% of black pastors say they're going to vote for Kamala Harris. And black pastors are the least likely to support Donald Trump.
Right.
Also, young pastors are the least likely to support Donald Trump.
Well, that makes sense too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen enough TikTok pastors to to attest to some of the interesting dynamics at work.
But let me ask you this: I mean, had Republicans nominated somebody maybe more traditionally conservative and and I'm not trying to start a big fight again here, but with somebody who has a life of a little more morality, shall we say, than Donald Trump, would those numbers be higher for the GOP?
I'm curious. I'm not sure. I'm not sure anymore. I mean, well, because part of the thing is there's at least in my view of what politics looks like now, in terms of the, when somebody says I want to vote for the more moral candidate, I always end up thinking what you're saying is you want to vote for the candidate who's better at hiding their immorality. Because I do not trust the morality of any of these politicians in general. So I mean, I guess part of that is just me being jaded more these days than I was back in the day. But I don't know. It probably tracks that that as we're looking at politics just as a nation in a different way now, we're kind of getting more towards just get somebody for the job as opposed to someone who includes a moral component as part of the criteria.
See, and that could be that there are a lot of pastors who are going to say, well, I'm going to vote for the better of the two main choices.
Sure.
But I'm hesitant to tell people that because I don't want people thinking I'm endorsing.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you want to get into the denominational stuff?
I am very curious about the denominational stuff.
Now I know there's a lot of numbers here, but
by the way, this is a conversation between two pastors' kids.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Both of us are PKs. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So Pentecostals, let's the most likely to vote for Trump. Pentecostals, about 2/3. Baptist, about 2/3.
Okay, I think that tracks.
Non-denominational, which generally non-denominational means Baptist with a rock band.
Yeah,
that's basically what that means.
Why is that so accurate?
Yeah, also 2/3.
Yeah.
Restorationist movement. I'm not familiar with what that term.
My church is actually a restoration.
What is
church.
that?
Well, it's really just 1930 something. I mean, there's a history behind
okay.
it, but basically it's just people who wanted to adhere to more biblical and outside of the conclaves.
Okay, yes, that's a term I'm not familiar with.
It's kind of it's just more non-denominational. So we are Baptists with rock bands.
There you go. Just over half.
Okay.
Say they're going to vote for Trump. Lutheran pastors, just under half. Now, when you get into who is more likely to vote for Harris, Methodist pastors, 52%, Presbyterian and Reformed, 44%.
That's interesting.
So, yeah.
I thought the Reformed would be higher.
I thought it would be too, but about 44%.
Based on all the Reform bros on the social media talking, yeah.
Well, and with Methodists, there's a split within Methodists.
That's true.
That's true. So that's where you're going to get some of that.
Yeah, you're right. Because there's basically the Methodists and the Rainbow Methodists.
Right.
Yeah,
precisely.
That's really it.
I mean, Rachel and I were at a Methodist church this past weekend in Springfield, which was of the more conservative,
right?
But they didn't talk any politics. So I guess what it comes down to is when there are matters that directly affect the morality and the culture, I think churches should be speaking out.
Yes.
For instance, like Amendment 3.
Amendment 3 is absolutely one I think that
Churches should be speaking out on this. Now, like for instance, Michael Knowles made a big thing basically arguing if the pastor is not telling you to vote Republican, then leave your church. I think it's nonsense.
That's too far.
I think
that's too far for me.
Right. And that's just basically people making partisan politics their religion. I personally, like for instance, my dad, I don't know about your dad. My dad would be happy to tell you who he's voting for when you have coffee with him on Monday at the diner, like Nadine's Hash House. But he's not going to say it from the pulpit,
right?
Just because that's not what he was called to do, was preach politics or make endorsements. And pastors are centers of influence, and he was always very careful with that. But when it came to things like, like abortion, like marriage and the law and LGBT, he was very, very, very blunt about that, because it had very specific theological and moral and cultural and community applications to it.
Our dads had similar methodologies then in terms of how their politics influenced what they would speak to from the pulpit. I think there is one instance though where Dad was going after a particular politician, and where I noticed it maybe, and that's Bill Clinton, and that was the moral failings going on there, because there was a sea change in the way we looked at politics from there.
That's right, from Clinton, because now we've had people with similar behavioral backgrounds on both sides of the partisan line there. Interesting stuff. All right, let me know what you think. Gabe's watching and Stell's watching the Facebook chat box. You can tweet at us, and of course I'm looking at the Rumble chat box as much as I can. We are at Nadine's Hash House in St. Louis in the Soulard neighborhood, 1802 South Broadway. The kitchen's up and running, man. Come get your coffee, come get your eggs, come get your omelets, come get your pancakes, man. That's good stuff out here. Just ahead, yes, there are Republicans in the city, and they are building a force here. We're going to talk to the chairman right around 6:36 here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
I wish it away.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter.
I apologize for all the lies I swear I'll never tell.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
The closest thing to hell.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Producer Joey V here. Wednesday, Tim and Chris will be back in studio with Zach Smith of Heritage talking Supreme Court cases and James Stake of YourAmericanFlagStore.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
After the coldest morning since April, sunny skies will help us climb to about 61 this afternoon in St. Louis. Just a light breeze out of the northwest. Another cold night tonight as we dip to 39 early Thursday morning, but rural areas will be flirting with freezing again, and some frost is possible. But boy, Thursday afternoon, we bounce back to 69 under sunny skies, and then highs in the 70s from Friday through the upcoming weekend. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Ready to soar beyond your limits? The U.S. Air Force and Space Force offer more than just a job. It's a launch pad for your future. With over 200 career paths, competitive pay, benefits, free education, 30 days paid vacation, and a chance to travel the globe, all while serving your country with pride. Your journey starts here. Call Jeremy Jefferson in St. Louis at 314-295-6834 or visit airforce.com and spaceforce.com today.
1949, the last time a Republican held the top post in St. Louis City. A gallon of milk was 84 cents, and streetcars ran down Grand Avenue. The city was booming. Unfortunately, St. Louis city streets are no longer the epicenter of family and business life. In the 80 years of Democrat control, our city has been on a steady decline. St. Louis City Republicans believe it is our duty to provide a different path forward. Learn more at stlouisrepublicans.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican Pat Curtis, Farber Treasurer.
Tim Jones here for Comprehensive Chiropractic in Eureka, the premier chiropractic and sports performance facility in the region. They've helped me recover from day-to-day aches and pains for years. And here's something special, personal training programs. Whether you're an athlete committed to increasing performance, recovering from an injury, or just want to get healthier and lose weight, their personal training programs will help you reach your goals and stay there. Comprehensive Chiropractic in Eureka, online at cchiropractic.com. That's cchiropractic.com.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
I don't know where I would get the truth if it weren't for you.
Live and local.
Welcome to the People's Republic of America stand. Here comes another roller coaster, another circus.
This is News Talk STL.
Hi, it's Dan Bongino here, and I'm proud to be on News Talk STL every weekday from 11 to 2. Right now, you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, the grill is up and running here at Nadine's Hash House.
Smelling good in here, man.
We're going to have the national news here in about 24 minutes. Not that I'm counting down,
Mhm.
and I know what I'm ordering. Here in just
same.
a little bit.
Same.
All right, Gabe Pfeiffer is here. Joey V's here. I'm Mike Ferguson. We are at Nadine's Hash House, 1802 South Broadway. Come on out, say hi. We've got a couple. I'm a couple cups of coffee deep already here, and we've of course got the whole kitchen up. It's going to be fantastic. All right, got Kirk Hilzinger, the chair of the St. Louis GOP, here with us in the city.
Yes,
we told you we're coming out here, hanging out with everybody.
This is awesome.
You guys are doing so much of the yeoman's work here. Coming up here later on today, we're going to talk to one of your candidates for state rep.
Yeah, it's Jim.
He's going to be here in the 8 o'clock hour as well. And Kirk, of course, always good to run into you, and you come out to the studio more times than not. But
more times than invited too.
That's right. We might as well tell the story. We had our calendars mixed up, and I get a text from Kirk. He's like, "All right, I'm at the door," and I'm like, "Why?
Why though?"
I see you.
So I mean, obviously anytime we talk about what's happening in the city, it immediately goes to something related to emergency services. It goes to something related to the school. It goes to something that's that's bad. News this week.
Business is leaving.
Yeah, we're going to talk to Cara Spencer here in a little bit. Fleischman Hillard taking hundreds of high-paying jobs out to the county. That announcement came here today, or this week rather.
Mhm.
And so when you look at the grand picture, you look and see, okay, City Hall, you've got your ideological stuff. It's a deep blue government. We get that. But at some point, they've got to start saying, this isn't working.
There's a lot of just pride, and they have so many blinders on. They don't understand outside of City Hall, the city is dying if they don't make a change. And what I'm seeing as far as the electorate is there's a high level of frustration going on right now because they're seeing jobs leave. Our number one problem between business leaving and residents leaving is crime. When you look at number two, it is the schools. For residents, number two on businesses is the 1% earnings tax. So I've been telling people, we need to get this crime thing in and checked. And really, I don't think that City Hall has the drive to run the police department. I think that needs to be brought back over to Jefferson City, just like Kansas City. And just like it was in 2013 when we had Mayor Francis Slay, who wasn't a defund the police. And they continually are a defund the police. All you have to do is look at this year's budget.
Yeah. And real quick, because I know Gabe's got a question. I really don't like the fact that I have to say I agree with that.
I don't either.
Ideally,
I hate that.
Yeah, ideally, you want the area closest to the community, which is the most nimble. But I think you're right, and I wish that you were not. But I think you are right about that. I think the state needs to come in and take over the department again, because City Hall has just made it very, very clear they are abandoning their own citizens in this city. How much more can the city take?
And it's not the rank and file police officers that are on the ground having to deal with this. You call in reports, they get dropped down to like disturbing the peace. The police are running 911 call to 911 call to 911 call. It's a high pressure environment for them. They're running so many 911 calls at times that the dispatch has to call them back and say, hey, we're doing a shift change. We're going to need to have you wait a little bit longer for a 911 call.
Yeah. And we were just talking about the reparations committee coming to the conclusion that they need to take give $25,000 checks to current and former Black residents, with that money coming out of or other monies coming out of the police and public safety, because of course there are no problems going on there.
Right. How is that working in California?
Yeah. It seems as though there's a vast disconnect there between the people who get to sit in their offices, around these things, and the regular folks who have to live in the city. And I don't understand it. Like, don't these people also live in the city? Don't they experience these things?
Let's call it what it is. It's not reparations. It's buying votes.
Well, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, there's two more city people who just walked in.
All right. Hey there, everybody.
Hey, folks.
Yeah, but that's the thing. And this is why we're going back to what you're doing with the city GOP. It's kind of funny
Yes.
because when we all first met, 3 years ago, or whatever it was, and the joke was somebody's going, "Wait, there are Republicans in the city?
I'm not alone.
There are others." But that was
Yes.
the thing is,
Yes.
what that you have done, and Mary Teresa did over the years, and Byron, and everybody who's been involved in this, and and like any political group, there are changes in directions and agreements and disagreements and all that kind of. That's politics.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. But to look at the work that's been done in the last 2.5 years in particular, more and more people know that you're there. More and more people are getting involved, and City Hall is paying attention to what you're doing, to the point of now some of your folks are getting appointed to those advisory committees and the commissions and the things like that. So when it comes to those people who are saying, we feel like we're alone out there, they need to know that there's another option. The machine doesn't have a complete monopoly anymore the way that it used to, but it's going to take more people getting involved.
Sorry. That's exactly right. And that's why we redid our website, stl-gop.com. Jim, who's going to be on in the 8 o'clock hour, did a tremendous amount of work for that. We've increased our engagement in Facebook, and we are starting to increase our Twitter presence as well. Working on that right now. So, and we're seeing results of that. We're seeing people, we really just launched it like October 3rd, and we're already seeing people sign up for volunteering, sign up for election workers, which we need election workers.
I want to talk about that in a few minutes. Go ahead. Yeah. You mean interrupt, but go ahead.
Yeah. And, we need, we are a David versus Goliath, and we need much help as possible. And you don't even have to be a Republican. You could just be an independent, or maybe a Democrat who's not on board with the direction that this is taken.
Right. Yeah. The old Francis Slade Democrats in the city are very, very different than the Tashard Jones Democrats. Go back,
or even worse, the Megan Green or Cori Bush.
Megan Green, Cori Bush. You compare that to Dick Gephardt.
Yeah.
Just a generation ago. Dick Gephardt would practically be a Republican in the city today.
Exactly.
Farther to the middle than the typical Republican around the state or the country. And Dick Gephardt, I don't know where he is now, but I suspect that he would say, no, I'm a tried and true Democrat. But he was just a union blue collar Democrat.
Yeah.
When he was in office, and his take on things was a far cry from the radical nature. At some point, even in a city like St. Louis here, there's going to be a pushback. Heck, New York City in my lifetime had a Republican mayor.
Yeah.
California in my lifetime had Republican governors. It's not like it can't happen, but it takes time. It takes work. So when you talk about the election workers, you're talking about like the election judges.
The judges, yes.
And this is crucial. This is an absolutely crucial point, because you're not talking about people to do the electioneering and handing out flyers. We're talking about people actually involved in the process to make sure the elections run smoothly and accurately.
Yes, we need election workers to work the judge. They say they're Republican. A lot of these people I've never seen at any meeting, and I've never been in contact with. So how do I know that they're Republican?
Right. But if people can contact you, and if they say, hey, Kirk, listen, I'm not a Democrat. I don't know that I'm partisan. I'm just not a leftist out there. I'm center right or whatever. Give a chat. You may still recommend them to go in and be part of that, because the reality is that in deep blue areas, it's hard to find people to have that balance.
Yeah.
And that's important when you're talking about the election judges.
And we do. I do know of a couple of independents that are running for offices that I can't out and out support at the at our level, but I'm definitely interested in them. I'm definitely hoping for the best that they flip those seats, because even flipping a seat from blue to independent is better than what we have
Blue
right
to
now.
gray.
Blue to gray. Well, I don't like the blue and the gray.
Okay, how about blue to let's see here.
What's a mix of purple? Is that blue and red? Purple?
Maybe like what's that generic color you see on apartments, like the I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Whatever that is.
Chartreuse.
Guys seeing 16 colors. I don't have any idea what mauve is.
Well, I've got a friend actually who's going to be an election judge, and he now we're talking about the county, but in the blue areas in North County, they need Republican judges. In the red areas of South County, they need Democrats, and in the city, I imagine
we need tons.
We need tons, and on both sides, but largely Republicans, right?
And to your point, in South County, yes, we do need to make sure that we have Democrat judges in those bright red areas so that we keep everything fair. I just want fair elections.
Exactly.
Let the people decide what needs to happen.
Absolutely.
All right. So what's next? What's next up for? Obviously, got the elections.
Got the election.
We've got some candidates here in the city.
Yes. We got Jim. We got myself for running 80th. We got Don Flecky running 82. We got Rick Cowell running 84. Jerry Vanderweer, I really love what he's saying about running for city treasurer.
Yeah.
He's got some great ideas there. Robert Vroman is running for Senate District 5. And then we also have Andrew Jones, who's running for CD1.
Sort of.
Yeah. I mean, he's had some medical problems.
Yeah, he has back issues.
So yeah. Had some back surgery, if I was told. So yes, I'm still voting for him over Wesley.
Yeah,
Bell.
no, without a doubt. Yeah, I'm trying not to let my frustration with that show through, but I'm a talk show host, and I'll just put it out there. So
you need people who, he'd be great to fill a segment. But,
and the thing is that he's got the resume. He would make an excellent congressman. So Andrew, campaign, get out there and ask people for the vote, because he's got the good resume. All right, but all of these, I'm assuming the clearinghouse is on the website as well. People can find these candidates.
STL-GOP.com. And December 18th is our Christmas party as well. We'll start selling tickets for that. They're going to be $50, and then they're going to be at Pietros.
Same place as last year.
Same place as last year. And
so
I've made a bet with the committee that if we outsell last year, I will come dressed up as a Christmas character of their choice.
I have seen you do that too, by the way.
Yes.
I've seen it. All right, great. Well, Kirk, we're going to talk to you obviously again sooner rather than later. The update on that as well. So appreciate it, because regardless of how these elections go, there's been a lot of progress being made with what you're building. So there's plenty to celebrate.
Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was Syracuse.
That's right. All right. Kirk, good talk to you again, man. Thanks so much.
Kirk.
All right. 314-912-1019. Going to dump some news on you here. And we are talking to everybody here. 7:05 right here. We've got State Representative Steve Butz, Democrat out of South City. South City. He's going to be here as well. And our very own Ann Dorn going to be with us around 7:35 as well. Here on 1019-94.1 News Talk STL. We are at Nadine's Hash House in the Soulard neighborhood. Come on out, get some breakfast, get some coffee, say hi. We'll talk to you throughout the morning here on 1019-94.1 News Talk STL.
Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Love, don't leave me lonely. There is someone else. I keep telling myself.
Thanks for taking my call.
News, analysis, opinion.
Radio news junkie. Love every bit about it.
News Talk STL.
Dreaming of upgrading your outdoor space? STL Fenceworks is the choice for you. Our skilled craftsmen build custom fences from modern vinyl to classic ornamental, fitting your style and budget. Elevate your outdoor living with low-maintenance decks designed to relax and entertain. We choose only top-quality American-made materials, ensuring your project is built to last. Your satisfaction is our passion. With over 50 years of experience, custom designs, and exceptional customer service, visit stlfenceworks.com today.
Hey, Columbo here for Rockwood Charcoal. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor. Connor Roofing is now a two-time winner of the National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction for roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. Please visit ConnorRoofing.com for an estimate. And remember, you can count on Connor.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. JD Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. For JD Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Danny Define here with the Next Gen, all new time this Sunday at 8 p.m. Now pour up a hot cup of coffee and tune back into the Mike Ferguson Show.
All right, the school board reconsidered and then fired the boss anyway. Also, Blues and Battlehawks got updates on both. It is 6:52. We're at Nadine's Hash House. Let's dump some news on you.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out. You know, I mean, they got all the news. The morning news dump.
All right, Israel gets a notice from the Biden administration. Make sure more so-called humanitarian aid gets into Gaza, or possibly have weapons sales and other supplies reduced or maybe even cut off. This is White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby.
This particular letter that we're talking about now follows a relatively recent decrease in humanitarian assistance reaching the people of Gaza, which is obviously something we've been very, very concerned about since the beginning of the conflict.
The Biden administration has given Israel a 30-day ultimatum, and Gabe, we know that much of the so-called humanitarian aid gets intercepted and supplies Hamas anyway. So this is completely self-defeating for Israel.
Absolutely. Basically, the American position is, you're going to supply your enemy, or we're going to cut off your ammo.
Yeah, pretty much. So give them sandwiches. All right, it is official. The St. Louis Board of Education gives Superintendent Keisha Scarlett the boot again. After putting her on leave in July and then originally voting to fire her last month, Scarlett contested that decision, which was her right, and an evidentiary hearing was held earlier this week. After looking at the evidence, the board voted again to terminate her, effective immediately. So in 1 year under her, I'm going to use air quotes here, leadership, the district went from having a $17 million surplus to having a deficit of over $30 million, and having an absolute mess of a transportation system to where some students don't even know how they're going to get to school literally today.
How do you spend $47 million in a year?
I mean, that's like
I would have difficulty doing that just with stuff that I want.
That kind of fiscal recklessness. I mean, at this point, Keisha Scarlett should just run for Congress if she's that bad with money.
That's a good point.
I'm just saying.
Step the game up.
Jeez. All right. Demolition of the Chesterfield Mall started Tuesday. We told you about that. Once that's cleared out, construction of a $2 billion mixed-use development is going to start. Demolition is going to take about 6 months. Building what the developers are calling downtown Chesterfield will take about a decade. The project includes retail, restaurants, office space, and about 2,700 apartments. So basically, they're trying to plan out a mixed-use development. In some areas around the country, this has worked. Other areas, it hasn't. So I think if it's going to work, Chesterfield's a pretty prime prospect for that.
Yeah, they don't have the same crime problems that other places do.
Yeah, well, and that's where the headquarters are going, and that's where the younger families are going. Yeah. So I mean, I think it's probably a good, smart bet for them to do that. All right, a couple things in sports here. The Blues lost their home opener at Enterprise on Tuesday. Final score against Minnesota was 4-1, and that includes a last-second wrist shot from the goalie.
Yeah,
Minnesota's goalie
right
into an empty net after St. Louis had pulled the goalie. So it was 3-1, but final score was actually 4-1.
You wanted that stat.
Yeah. Blues are at home again tomorrow, hosting the Islanders. That was the Blues' first loss of the year. Battlehawks preseason tickets for the 2025 season are now on sale. Ticket packages start, if you break it down, about $18 per game if you're looking at the upper levels. And remember, the Battlehawks get 6 home games,
right?
Whereas everybody else gets 5 because the fans,
we deserve them.
Yeah, the fans have been so good and have floated the UFL, so literally they're tilting the scales in favor of the Battlehawks.
Yes.
So like Birmingham, they're like, hey, they're trying to promote the Battlehawks and help them out. Yes, they are. That's exactly what's happening.
Yep.
UFLbattlehawks.com/tickets for more information. The season kicks off in March.
Number 1 for live and local
conservative talk.
Every day, something new. News, analysis, and opinion.
Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
There is a balance to be struck between being tough and being efficient.
Continuing resolutions are never ideal.
The bill sets up another funding battle at the end of the year.
This is the way Democrats want to run elections now.
Harris is not running for perfect.
1019 and 94.1.
St. Louis is number 1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
She learned the value of hard work and responsibility at her family's small business at an early age. Ann Wagner took those same hard-working Missouri values to Washington. She's made it her job to keep the radical left from harming your job. Today, in the midst of Joe Biden's out-of-control inflation, Ann Wagner protects us by working to lower costs for families. As a mother of 3, she understands the work and has done it to keep your home and community safe. That's why Ann Wagner fought to secure our border and stop traffickers from smuggling fentanyl and illegal immigrants into our communities, and why she gave law enforcement the tools they need to defend us. And Ann Wagner took a stand against the defund the police radicals who will leave us in harm's way. She'll always back our brave law enforcement officers, putting conservative values to work for us. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Severs JCB has amazing deals on JCB mini excavators ranging from 2 tons to 10 tons. The choice is yours to take 5 on one of these great offers. Take 0% financing for 5 years or take up to a $5,500 cash rebate and 5-year warranty. See terms and conditions for details. These offers are for a limited time, so head to your nearest Severs JCB and check out their full line of JCB construction equipment or visit seversjcb.com.
This is News Talk STL.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. Presidential hopefuls Donald Trump and Kamala Harris participated in separate interviews yesterday. At the Chicago Economic Club, the former president touted his plan for higher tariffs on imports. He also told Bloomberg News he'd like to give input on interest rates if he's reelected.
I think I'm better than most people would be in that position. I think I have the right to say I think you should go up or down a little bit. I don't think I should be allowed to order it, but I think I have the right to put in comments as to whether or not interest rates should go up or down.
Vice President Harris told radio host Charlemagne the God that Trump's treatment of people runs counter to her religious upbringing.
And let's talk about the contrast here. Donald Trump and his followers spend full time trying to suggest that the measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down. which is absolutely contrary to the church I know.
He sells Bibles, though.
Where our church and my church is about saying true leadership. The measure of that is based on who you lift up.
Fox News will air its first ever sit-down interview with Harris later today. The interview with anchor Brett Baer will air this evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. White House National Security spokesman John Kirby says Israel, not the U.S., will decide Israel's response to Iran's ballistic missile attacks this year.
Whether and to what degree Israel conducts any kind of response is really for them to speak to and not us. And we need to be very circumspect about not inserting ourselves into that kind of operational decision-making by the Israelis.
The death toll from a gasoline tanker explosion in Nigeria has surpassed 100. Authorities say 50 others were injured. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The instability of our economy after this election has many worried, and stocks and bonds could be the first to collapse. Countless Americans are turning to the safest store of wealth in human history to protect their retirement accounts. Physical precious metals. Gold has been a safe haven asset for generations. At Premier Gold, we specialize in helping those with a 401k, IRA, or other types of retirement accounts convert their vulnerable paper assets into physical gold to protect their hard-earned savings. Today, we'd like to send you a free gold election kit to help you decide if this is right for you. Call 606-800-8000 to claim yours. Act before the election to take advantage of the current rollover policies, allowing for a quick and seamless transfer into physical gold or silver. Don't let the outcome of this election influence the fate of your financial future. Call 606-800-8000 now. Premier Gold is not a financial advisor. Please consult with your advisor before investing. Call 606-800-8000. From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
After the coldest morning since April, sunny skies will help us climb to about 61 this afternoon in St. Louis. Just a light breeze out of the northwest. Another cold night tonight as we dip to 39 early Thursday morning, but rural areas will be flirting with freezing again, and some frost is possible. But boy, Thursday afternoon, we bounce back to 69 under sunny skies, and then highs in the 70s from Friday through the upcoming weekend. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Shane.
This hour of News Talk STL, brought to you by Jewels on Hampton, paying some of the highest prices for your gold, silver, diamonds, and more. Call 314-752-5000 or visit jewelsonhampton.com.
Tim Jones here for my favorite St. Louis Sports Bar and Grill experience, the go-to spot of Johnny's Hideout. Johnny's Hideout featuring over 40 big screen TVs to watch all the great games this college and NFL season. Awesome food specials every single day that I absolutely love. Bike nights, classic cars on Wednesdays, live music every weekend, and a fantastic time to visit the gorgeous Sunset Patio. Located just 10 minutes from 270 in Gravois, open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. onwards. All the information you need to know at jhideout.com. That's jhideout.com. Johnny's Hideout in High Ridge.
Are you like me and you like great books? Well, I found a place that has a lot of great books. Deep Read Press. DeepReadPress.com. That's the website to find out exactly what they have. And again, they got traditional books. They are a traditional publisher. Deep Read Press does a lot of things that I particularly like, and most of them has to do with great books. So if you're looking for a publisher to publish, or if you're just looking for a place to find a lot of great books, it's Deep Read Press at deepreadpress.com. That's deepreadpress.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com. Mike Ferguson.
You play ball like a girl!
Gabe Pfeiffer.
I triple saw stereo!
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice. Drain the swamp and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the Morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
You know, the fun part about getting out and broadcasting remotely, Gabe, is that we forget that when we do the Kofifi dance at 7:05 that we kind of look goofy.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't care. I did it anyway.
Well, yes, obviously, because in the studio, we're just three guys goofing around
Right.
together. Out here in the wild, we're guys goofing around in public.
I thought you forgot you were on radio. Nobody's watching.
It is 7:06 right now. Mike Ferguson with Gabe Pfeiffer, Joey V. We're out at Nadine's Hash House on Broadway in Soulard. And of course, come on out, have some breakfast. I just ordered my omelet here. We've got a lot of people in here. It's great, great food here. Joined by State Representative Steve Butz from the 81st District. Steve, good chat with you, man. Thanks for coming out here.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. When I got the invite, I thought, man, does morning radio really start this early? But yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Indeed.
Exactly. Okay, so obviously all eyes are on the election, right now. But when you look ahead to the next legislative session, we're going to have another governor. It's probably going to be Mike Kehoe.
Yep.
We know how that's going to be. You're probably looking at Patterson as the speaker, most likely. So when you look at how things are shaping up, now obviously with you being a Democrat, you're going to have a different perspective than a lot of the people who have the rift within the Republican Party that's happening. But when you look at what should be the priorities going into 2025, how does that line up with what you think St. Louis wants to have done in 2025?
Yeah, so if I'm successful in the November election, this will be my fourth term in the House. I know all those guys really well. I do think this is, I'm a very hopeful kind of guy, but this year I think we have our best chance at having a really solid legislative term because, I'm pushing hard for Crystal Quaid, as you can imagine. She is super competent, just like the guest that was on earlier. It's important to have some Republicans running somewhere in the city and in Kansas City while we're trying to get people to run out in Potosi and Steelville, Missouri. But in that case, both people running for governor are really highly qualified, great individuals. Crystal is dynamic, but most probably, and I think even Crystal would admit, sure, Mike Kehoe is going to win this election. I think he's a very pragmatic guy. He works well on both sides of the aisle. He's got a great reputation with labor. Most importantly, I think for us in St. Louis, he's originally from St. Louis, and he's one of these really successful business guys that has not forgotten from whence he came. So I'm excited about that we'll have a governor that's St. Louis focused. Patterson, likewise, I came in with Patterson. He's a really exceptional guy, a doctor out of the Kansas City area. Moderate, gets pushed from his far right crazy wing that he's not quite, Republican enough. Same for Kehoe, which is all just a bunch of nonsense. I think we're going to work well. The budget's probably going to be a little tight. It's been plentiful the last 3 years or so. It's going to be a little tight, so we got to make some choices there. And really working on the budget. And then you guys were talking about the whole state control thing, so I'll take a little.
Yeah, have at it.
Yeah, okay, so it's a misnomer, right? It is not state control. Now, we had state control for a long time, going back actually to the start of the Civil War. It is a local police board of commissioners, which is identical to virtually every police department. St. Louis County is run by a board of police commissioners. What is unique about it is the governor gets to appoint 4 of the 5, the mayor of the city being, the first among equals. The thought, and I do support this return primarily because the cops support this return. Both the black officers through the Ethical Society of Police and the POA, they are in unison on this issue. Strictly a thing of management, but it is not going to attract additional, police, and it is not going to have an immediate impact on crime.
Yeah, and one of the things that you look at the differences is that with City Hall in particular right now, I mean, it just seems like the ideological bent regarding law enforcement. You mentioned what you called the far right thing, which a lot of our audience would disagree with, but that's what's fun about talk radio. I would argue, the far left in the City Hall and the sort of defund the police effort that they've got, at least with this, gubernatorially appointed board. What you would be looking at is a group of people who would say, we've got to add officers back. We've got to add that equipment back, as opposed to saying, let's take this recommendation and do social workers and do, mental health providers. Not that those can't be part of it. I'm for an all of the above, but there's no question that the staffing and the number of officers on the street is woefully short. And that's got to, nobody, I think, can in good conscience argue that that doesn't have something to do has everything to do with the crime issues and the reputation. My mother, for instance, was getting ready to move. She's either going to move here closer to me and my wife, or she's going to move to where my brother is and his wife, and she chose New Hampshire, although she's never lived there except for the day she was born, literally, and then was adopted. And she just said, I just don't feel safe moving to St. Louis anywhere. And that's just the reputation precedes it. That's just one case. Maybe that's projection.
And even all over the world. That's
Without
true.
a doubt.
All
Right.
over the
Exactly.
world.
So when you get this change, it's whether you want to call it a local board appointed by the governor or state takeover, the important thing for a lot of people is City Hall isn't running it anymore.
Yeah, so there's no doubt. I mean, the current administration and Megan Green in particular, I mean, they've doubled down on, and I kind of respect Megan Green. I don't agree with most all of her politics, but she does not back down from the defund the police message.
Right.
And that is where the majority of voters are in the city of St. Louis right now. I've lived here my whole life. I almost don't recognize the place on that point. But we got to keep pushing back and show, hey, we tried this other way and it has not worked, and it has crashed and burned. Crime's always been a perception in the city of St. Louis. And like I said, I've lived here my whole life, and it was common. So I'm hopeful that it's a step in the right direction, that we could return to the police commission board.
Is there anything beyond the local control police that the state legislature can do to help the city in that regard? Because there's a lot of problems, and they seem to be endemic.
There is.
Yeah. Okay.
We could change our stupid gun laws. I mean, I'm a longtime gun owner. I'm a hunter. I could just say, when you have gun laws that have allowed just anybody, anywhere to carry a gun, including kids, underage kids. We had a very reasonable bipartisan bill, last year. I thought crazy reasonable, right? Just saying, if you're under the age of 18, you may not carry a gun publicly without your parent or guardian present. But most people are like, wait, you mean you're like 14, you can carry a gun? Yeah, you can in Missouri, and you most certainly can in the city of St. Louis. They've taken their own steps to try to correct it. That went down because of the crazy Republicans that outdo themselves on gun rights. I'm like, it was never meant for 13-year-olds to be walking around with weapons.
It seems like a feel-good thing, though, but the criminals aren't going to say, well, I was going to carry my gun around the city, but gosh darn it, the law says it's not going. They're not going to obey that. I mean, that's not going to make a difference.
It allows the cops. The cops want this, by the way. So let's get that on the record, you guys. The cops want this. So if you're pro-cop, you're going to be pro this simple regulation. It allows the cops to take the guns from the teenage kids that are walking around with them.
So is that where you would stop, though? Because I mean, I'm
yeah. Let's stop there.
Stop. Okay. Well,
stop
I
there.
mean, I can have that
Let's
debate.
get that. Can we?
I would have that debate with you. I would say if that's the term of it, because
we had the vote and it went down 120 to 40.
Yeah, so it ain't happening.
There's like three Republicans that voted the common sense way, even though the majority of them, my Republican colleagues, know that that's a common sense reform. They're afraid to vote that way.
Or is there the concern that so you open the door? Listen, I remember when Missouri did not allow people to defend themselves, didn't recognize the second, and I was held at gunpoint. I was held up at gunpoint. It would have been illegal for me to defend myself at that time, so I had a revolver held to my forehead. So whether or not the gun control laws would stop any crime, it would stop me from defending myself. And that's one of the reasons that I take it personally, because but for the grace of God, I wouldn't be here, because some criminal was like, I don't give a crap about the gun control laws. I know that guy's unarmed.
Yeah. I know the criminals don't care because they're going to carry.
Right.
I'm talking about underage kids that shouldn't be carrying. I mean, the criminals, they're always going to carry. I don't buy into this. If we pass laws, dudes that are carjackers and murderers, they're still going to have guns. I have no beef with that. So when we passed the concealed carry permit process, I'd be thrilled if we just went back to that, when we got away from concealed carry permit and went to this quote unquote constitutional carry, which is anybody, anywhere, anytime. I'll have arguments. They'll say, show me where it says an age limit in the Constitution, the right to keep and bear arms.
Right.
And I'm always like, why do you guys always leave out in order to maintain a well-regulated militia?
Well, what does that
mean?
mean?
Yeah, say what? Yeah, the way what did militia mean at the time, though? I mean it
never meant 10, 11, and 12-year-olds walking around carrying guns.
Oh, actually, it did.
No,
absolutely, it did. No,
absolutely not.
Look,
you guys want to go back to 1808 or something?
No.
In modern times. Come on.
Here's the. Well, I guess
let's go from World War II forward. Let's bring it into the 20th
Well,
century.
here's the thing. During World War II, teenagers, young teenagers were bringing their rifles to school for shooting competitions.
We were doing that in my high school.
Or plunking after school or they.
Yeah.
And
did they just walk around their towns with them?
Yes.
No.
Yes. That's how you
my
got
whole
to
life.
school. How are you getting to school if you're not going from your house to the school through the neighborhood with the gun that you're going to shoot? You're going to go plunking with after school.
Let's go with maybe in rural Missouri. Let's allow different laws between
I'm from
the
New York.
urban core.
I'm from New York.
Okay, I'm only from Missouri. So.
No, I'm just saying. Look, it wasn't a rural thing. Yeah. I went to a high school that at one point prior to me graduating there, we had a shooting team. And there's a gun range in the basement of this school in it's not quite downtown New York, but it's not exactly rural either. And kids would go from their house through town with their firearm to go shoot. And
in Brooklyn.
It wasn't Brooklyn. No.
In Manhattan. You said New York, so we're in New York City.
Okay. Ossining, New York.
Okay.
Where Sing Sing prison is.
Okay.
That's where it was. Okay. So the point being, the culture is different now.
Yeah.
The culture is different now.
Different.
So here's the thing. Are we going to constantly adjust our rights towards, the failings of culture? Or are we going to try? Oh, we are.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. There you have it. That's
I give good answers.
That's a solid answer, but it shows a very a divergent area between us. Like we can't.
Life moves on.
No,
Things
I
change.
think rights exist outside of
the
failings of culture. So I don't like the idea of having to manage our rights as time goes on, as though time itself, as though people and their failings are going to change what the rights that God gave us.
I was on the rifle shooting team at the Loughborough YMCA as a kid, which goes to show you. And we shot little 22 shorts in the basement of the Loughborough Y.
Yeah, so you're aware.
So you're aware. Never walked, with our 22s into the Y. They were there. Mm-hmm. We did walk around carrying, BB guns and stuff, shooting stuff in Cronolette Park.
All right. Steve Butz, appreciate you coming out. 81st District. I want to go and give your website, social media, anything like that for the campaign. I mean, obviously, I'm sure there's stuff we're going to agree on, stuff we're going to disagree on. That's the way it goes.
That's what makes life great.
Yeah.
Right? So info.
Yeah.
Info at stevebutz.com.
Stevebutz.com.
I'm definitely a state representative, 81st District on Facebook. Really appreciate the time.
We've linked you on all of our social media too. So
we did that too.
Yep.
Let's do it again. This is fun.
Absolutely.
I'm actually one of the talk shows. I love it when we debate this.
Yes, I love it too.
I think it's great. Steve, appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. Have a great morning.
All right, 314-912-1019. Let's just say there was quite a discussion going on in the Rumble chat box.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
As particularly as well. All right, we are out here at Nadine's Hash House in Soulard. So come on out, South Broadway. I just got my breakfast, and hopefully we've got a long enough break. I'm going to dig into this right here.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
I'm barely holding on right now.
Dig in, Gabe. All right, this is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Making cold mind to fight your war. Stop it right now.
Well, there you go again, listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Before you blow us all away. Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin. Get up, what are you waiting for? Get up.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
So what about all these 87,000 IRS agents? I say less agents, less IRS. Let's talk to Chris Cooper from Serenity Wealth Management about that Wednesday at 9:05.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL. News, analysis, and opinion.
Israel's iron fist can reach anywhere in the Middle East.
It's not just Hamas.
Right now, Hezbollah is in shambles.
Hurricane Helene ravaged North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida.
They have pledged to carry out the largest deportation, a mass deportation in American history.
Very simply, Joe Biden puts illegal aliens first.
Other nation states who figured out easy to spread misinformation and disinformation and try to interfere in our elections.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
When it comes to making the biggest financial investment of your family's, probably any of your lives, it's going to be real estate. It's going to be your home. I mean, and I hope that your retirement plan is healthy and going to get you through. But one of the best ways in this country is to build wealth is through owning your home. And when you do that, you've got to work with the best, and not only the best, but the people who are going to keep your needs above their own. And I just described Rodney and Jen. Mike Ferguson here for the Wallner Home Selling Team with Berkshire Hathaway. The number is 314-810-SOLD. And by the way, right now at 7:21, I am giving you their cell phone number. That's the number I call when I talk to Rodney and Jen, 314-810-SOLD. And, you know, I've mentioned this before. Anybody can go look up their MLS system. Anybody can go get a license and then look stuff up. You say, I want a 3-bedroom and 2-bath home in this part of town. Somebody can look that up. That's not a problem. But when Rodney and Jen work with you, here's what you know. They are putting your needs first. This is how they've built a successful business. They know St. Louis. They know the region. They're licensed in Illinois and Missouri. So no matter wherever you want to move to, where you want to move from, they know the area. They understand the economic factors. They understand the school district areas. They understand everything that goes into it. And they are going to give you the advice that empowers you to make the best decision for your family long term. So give them a call, 314-810-SOLD. My challenge, call them and just find out what the difference is. You're going to talk to them for a few minutes and you're going to realize, okay, they're different. They care. They have a flexible commission plan to fit your needs. And if you're ready to sell a home, I understand that people are getting a little gun shy these days, but they have so many pre-approved buyers. You probably won't even have to list your home. Whether you're looking for an investment property, maybe a good time to get into that, or you're looking to make that move to be closer to work, to be in a different school district, whatever the case is, Rodney and Jen Wallner not only will get you there, but they will go above and beyond to put your family first. There is a difference. Call them today, 314-810-SOLD. Tell them your situation. Tell them what you're looking to do. Tell them what you're thinking about doing, and get their initial advice. And you're going to be impressed, not just with their knowledge, but with their sincerity and with their ethics, and you cannot ask for any more than that. All right, 314-810-SOLD. Tell them Mike was bragging about him again on the radio. Once again, 314-810-SOLD.
This is 101.9 and 94.1.
I have to tell you, if this is how they're going to behave, I'm rethinking my position.
News Talk STL.
I'm so tired of my water smelling like rotten eggs. Ironbound. It makes my clothes and home smell. And my sink and faucet look dirty. I'm calling Jones Air and Water Treatment for their solution to this pollution.
Jones Air and Water Treatment has a solution to your pollution. Call now for your free water analysis at 636-899-1040 and live with clean, great-tasting water. That's 636-899-1040 or joneswater.com on the web. Call us now.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have? Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine-in or carry-out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
Missouri's Amendment 3 is cleverly worded to convince you that it only allows abortions until fetal viability. But it has loopholes that allow for abortions through all 9 months of pregnancy. Abortion proponents used to say safe, legal, and rare. But now they want abortion as common as the morning after pill. Plus, minor-aged children will have access to sex change surgeries without parental consent. Vote no on Amendment 3.
Paid for by Leadership for America PAC, John B. Royal Treasurer.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. Doug and Safe Money Radio is on 3 times every weekend, but in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com or call 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
This is 101.9 and 94.1.
Female millennial Trump supporter. I listen to it like every day. Like, seriously, you get it.
News Talk STL.
Dan Bongino here. Keep it on News Talk STL because my show starts at 11 a.m. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Since the police situation came up so much in that conversation with State Representative Steve Butz. We're going to delve into that more with Ann Dorn, David Dorn Foundation, right around 7:35. Just saw her walk in. So she's here having breakfast with us. We're at Nadine's Hash House in Soulard. Come on out. I can attest the food is delicious.
Absolutely.
And I didn't even ask, but they brought me the hot sauce, which is good stuff right here.
Nice.
Mike Ferguson and Gabe Pfeiffer and Joey V out here at Nadine's in Soulard. Stel Ponticus in the studio. All right. A couple things real quick here. One, first of all, I really appreciate that Representative Butz came out.
Yes, absolutely. It's rare for the other side to kind of be brave enough to talk to us,
and I
days.
like it
for some reason.
Did I agree with most of what he said? Of course not.
No.
But that's why he's a Democrat, and I'm not. A lot of discussion happening on the Rumble chat box, probably on the other social media as well.
Here and there, yep.
But I will tell you that this is what we've decided to do on purpose.
Yes.
To do differently is to let the other side come in and
say their piece
and have their say. This is a talk show. We're not an echo chamber.
Yeah.
By the way, when it comes to just what happens when you have bad laws, I found this story today. Oh my goodness. That's why a lot of people say, there ought to be a law, and I immediately recoil when I hear there ought to be a law.
Oh gosh, yes.
And so apparently, one of the members of the Board of Aldermen in St. Louis, I don't know what she was working on, but she found that in St. Louis, there is a 76-year-old law that's still on the books.
Okay,
still on the books today.
All right. So still enforceable.
It's still enforceable, probably enforced, to some degree. But every barbershop in the city of St. Louis.
Okay. It's
So
subject to this law.
barbershop, anything hair salon, whatever.
All right.
They must close by 6:30 p.m. and they're not allowed to be open on Sundays.
What? So wait a second. We got the we have dry laws for.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. This ain't you can buy your booze,
right? Just not
but
on
just
Sunday.
don't get a haircut.
Yeah, exactly.
So Alderwoman Shamim Clark Hubbard, who represents Ward 10, found this 76-year-old law that prohibits barbershops from being opened on Sundays. Some holidays that don't even exist or holidays that have since been renamed, not allowed to be open per City Hall. And then after 6:30 p.m. any night. So they're not allowed.
Okay. This always makes me wonder.
I don't know what was going on.
What happened?
Right.
Because some of these laws, some of these archaic, weird laws that seem to come out of nowhere. It's basically there's one guy, and everybody got really mad at that guy. And then they did the ought to be a law thing, and then it's like, okay, you ruined it for everybody.
Right.
So what happened after 6 p.m. on a Sunday?
It's like Joe the barber started drinking early. By 6:30, you weren't going to get a good haircut. So you know what? Just close them all down by 6:30.
There are fights everywhere.
Right.
You ruined my hair.
But this shows you that when we talk about the presidential race, we talk about the race for governor, all this sorts of things.
Yeah.
But what affects you most directly is what happens in your city hall, what happens in your state legislature, what happens in your county government, because somewhere it is now illegal, or it has been illegal for 3 generations to have a barbershop that's open past 6:30 in the city.
I'm vaguely aware of another city ordinances, like you can't take a goose in a hot air balloon or something like that. He's like, just random things.
I want to know the story behind
I want to know the story behind them, but I also want those laws to be good.
That's right.
because they're weird and they don't make any sense. And yes, it's government kind of overreaching in order responding to a really, really irate person who was saying there ought to be a law.
Maybe that's one of the things we got to do is here in the metro area, say, somebody find me the dumbest law still on the books. I don't care if it is in your county or your city or whatever.
Yes.
I want to know what some of the dumbest laws are here in the books that are still, I guess, technically enforceable.
I mean, I suppose at 6:05 p.m. a cop could walk down the street.
6:35,
or 6:35 p.m. A cop could walk down the street, see a barbershop still open, and cite them.
Can you imagine having a black market barbershop? I mean, you got to have a code. It's like the little eye thing through the door. It's like,
what's the password?
Split ends. Okay.
Oh my gosh, it's not a speakeasy, it's a clip easy.
It's a clip easy. This is what happens when the first thing you do is you go to government and you say there ought to be a law.
Yeah.
Think twice before you do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Whether it's the little stuff, or it's the big stuff.
Right.
All right. We are at Nadine's Hash House in Soulard. We are at 1802 South Broadway. Gabe and I are going to be here at least until 9 o'clock until we hand things over to Vic Porcelli. Coming out, I'm going to get a few more bites of my breakfast in here. What'd you end up getting?
Oh, I got the chorizo omelet and a half order of cinnamon French toast.
Oh, nice. There it is.
So I'm excited to dig right back in. It takes so much willpower to continue speaking to you all while this delicious food is sitting under my nose wafting.
Come on out and say hi. As you can see, a lot of folks coming in. We're going to be visiting with Ann Dorn from the David Dorn Foundation. Let's talk police. Let's talk law enforcement right around 7:35 here on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
She'll make you take her to the club, but then she leaves with her friends. She likes to stay late at the party cause the fun never ends. And all her clothes are on the floor.
Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Take it cause you can't come back. Say, yeah, you want.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
After the coldest morning since April, sunny skies will help us climb to about 61 this afternoon in St. Louis. Just a light breeze out of the northwest. Another cold night tonight as we dip to 39 early Thursday morning, but rural areas will be flirting with freezing again, and some frost is possible. But boy, Thursday afternoon, we bounce back to 69 under sunny skies, and then highs in the 70s from Friday through the upcoming weekend. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
I can tell you how to get a free quick quiz to see how artificial intelligence can boost your company's potential. You go to priglobal.ai, priglobal.ai. St. Louis Business Magazine listing PRI as one of the leading IT companies, and PRI has its own AI lab to develop what your business needs. priglobal.ai, priglobal.ai.
Larry Connor's Commentary, brought to you by Vincent Jewelers, locally owned for almost 45 years. Vincent Jewelers, the official jeweler of Larry Connor's USA. Check for daily specials at vincentjewelers.com. This is Larry Connor's Commentary on News Talk STL.
The Free Press is a new media company built on ideals of great American journalism, honesty, and fierce independence. Well, recently, Free Press reporters took a close look at child sex trafficking, cartels using the Biden-Harris open border policy to bring in children and young teens, girls and boys. Free Press visited the House of Hope in Denton, Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's the only shelter for male trafficked victims. The operator said, "We've seen teen boys suffering brain damage from being so heavily drugged, fingernails pulled out, and other things you don't even want to consider. And those are boys. These children are indebted to the smugglers. And if they won't carry out the crimes they want them to do, if they won't work the jobs they want, their families back home will face retaliation." Free Press has been asking for full information on how many children have been brought in. Been asking since 2020. So far, nothing. No confirmation of how many kids, no confirmation of where they are, no confirmation if they're even alive. That is a crime, a sin created, fostered by Biden-Harris.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
Hi, it's Ken Williams, and my favorite Capriati sandwich is the Capistrami. You've got hot pastrami, melty Swiss cheese, crunchy coleslaw, and zesty Russian dressing. What else do you need? I love Capriati's, and you will too.
On Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill.
Hey folks, Tim Jones here with Eric from Newstetter's Fine Jewelers. Eric, Newstetter's not one of those giant, big, sterile, big box stores, is it?
Nope. Newstetter's Fine Jewelry is a family-owned local tradition since the 60s. We're a full-service jeweler that does on-site repair as well as custom creations. We don't sell jewelry. We sit and listen to find out exactly what you truly desire in fine jewelry and give you an education so you'll fall in love with your piece for a lifetime.
Newstetter's Fine Jewelers at wowdiamonds.com. That's Newstetter's Fine Jewelers, wowdiamonds.com.
I want you to know that McGuire Moving and Storage is silver certified, which means McGuire has a quality reputation helping older adults move local or long distance. And something else to know, Josh McGuire, president of McGuire Moving and Storage, is the only certified moving consultant in Missouri. I'll tell you, once you met Josh, you're going to know your move will be easy. And I fully endorse McGuire Moving and Storage. McGuireMoving.com.
Tony Colombo here for Zero Res, the cleaning pros we trust with our home, and the team bringing you a great offer for the month of October. Book a cleaning this month and mention the Colombo special, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. Plus, you can take $75 off an air duct cleaning. Don't let the germs hiding in your home haunt your family. Call Zero Res now and take advantage of this scary good deal. Just mention the Colombo special when you call 314-474-2020 or when you book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
This is News Talk STL. News, analysis, and opinion from the voices you know and trust. News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and newstalkstl.com.
Hey, this is Carl Higbee, host of Frontline on Newsmax TV, and you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Sometimes I forget that we're on camera.
Oh yeah, also
and I'm here like eating my omelet.
Scarfing.
Right here. I'm scarfing it down. Yes. I look up like, oh hey, how are you?
Oh yeah.
We are out at Nadine's Hash House in Soulard in St. Louis. Mike Ferguson here. Got Gabe Piper here. Joey V is here, and of course Del Ponticus is not here with the food. But still, we're going to find a way to get your Greek omelet to you. I promise. We're going to try to get it over there to you. All right, it is 7:37 right now. We got Ann Dorn from the David Dorn Foundation. Great to have you here again. And, of course, Mary Teresa McLean, who's also now with the David Dorn Foundation. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
Ladies, of course, one of the things that we talk about anything in St. Louis, it's public safety.
Yeah.
It's always public safety that comes up. And I want to get to some of those discussions because it's interesting that once you get out of the hardcore ideological bent of the actual elected officials, there is less disagreement through the city than I think a lot of people would think. They want more emergency services. They want a better staff police department. They want the better staff 911. It's that ideological bent in City Hall, which we'll get to in a minute. First of all, we'll update on what's happening with the foundation, named, of course, in your heroic late husband, David Dorn. What is up next? Because I know that there were some changes regarding an event that is coming up here. So give us that update first.
Yeah, the update, we had a volleyball tournament. We canceled that because there was no interest in it. We didn't realize it was kind of around a holiday and just things like that. So if it comes back around, it'll be next year.
Mm-hmm.
So in the meantime, we've planned a cheers and charity event, a happy hour for first responders, their families and supporters. It's going to be Thursday, December 19th. So save the date.
Right.
Everybody. It's going to be from 6 to 10. It's going to be at Adventures Unknown out in Fenton. We're going to have a Santa there. It's going to be $20 per person. It's going to include beer, soda, water, and snacks. We're going to try and get hors d'oeuvres and things donated. So we're looking for sponsors, and we're looking for food vendors, restaurants, things like that would want to cater small plates, snacks type of things for first responders coming in. It's happy hour. They're going to be in and out. $20 will cover all that. Get your picture with Santa. There's going to be a cooking making. The kids can make cookies, decorate cookies.
Nice. Santa's
going to give some gifts out. But we're collecting unwrapped toys and gift cards for families of first responders. We have for TJ Brown, we're going to try and select for his daughters. We're going to try and have the Lee family there, include them. Hey, you're still part of the family. Let's make this Christmas a great Christmas. I know what my first Christmas was without Dave. It's not easy. And then we have a couple other families. We have one family, I won't mention their name right now, but they have a very sick child that was just diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia. And if she's not treated, she can die.
Oh gosh. Okay.
And she's going to be 2 in December.
Mm-hmm. And this is a family of
a police officer. Yes.
Okay.
So, and there's a couple others like that. So we would like to get toys and gift cards to help just make it easier for them.
Mm-hmm.
One has to travel to St. Jude quite a bit. So gift card for gas, clothes, hotel, food, different things like that. Some of those are covered, but we just want to make it easier on them. So there is no stress through the holiday season.
And is all that information on the website or the social media? How do people say, hey, wait a minute, I'm in on that? How do they get in touch with you?
They can get in touch through Facebook. Yep. They can get in touch through our webpage. Our website is dornfoundation.com, which Mary Teresa has set up for me. She's a genius when it comes to that. And there's a flyer on there. There's a buy button for tickets. There's information. The Captain David Dorn Facebook page has all that information, and so does the Ann Dorn Facebook page has that information on it. So
I want to come back to that. Make sure we remind people that
yes.
before we wrap up here. All right, so let's talk about. I mean, obviously, you just mentioned, police officers, for instance. You talk about Officer Brown from the Ferguson Police Department. Still in the hospital, not in a coma, thank God anymore. But showing the dangers of the job. Obviously, Officer Lee, who lost his life in the line of duty, and so many other factors. But I'm focused on police officers right now. All of the things that your foundation serves, those situations. I mean, the people that you all serve, and of course, that goes back to the discussion over emergency services, particularly in the city as well. And we just had State Representative Steve Butz on. There's a whole lot that we didn't agree on. But one thing that we did agree on is having, he didn't like the term state control, but you look at that, governors appointing the board. Essentially what we're talking about is the governor has the influence and sets the board, even if there's plenty of local people, getting it out of the city hall direct oversight or the direct control, I should say on there. And so when you look at what would be best, not just for the police officers, but what would be best for St. Louis as a city and a community, what's the right direction that we could demand that our officials do? Because the fact of the matter is that everything else comes from that in St. Louis right now.
The state needs to take control. There needs to be more manpower. Tashara Jones has said in the past she wants officer manpower down to 600 officers or lower. You can't man a city of our size with that. You can't manage the amount of calls that these guys get in a day. You can't have 2 officers in one district trying to handle 40 calls in a night. You need the state control. And state control, again, yes, the governor oversees it. However, the board members are made up of citizens of St. Louis City, and the mayor has a seat on the board. So the mayor still has a say in it. It's not taken away from the citizens of the city. It's just there's not as much influence from your city officials because of the corruption that's happening.
Right.
Everybody's trying to make a place in the city as far as the politics, and politics don't play when it comes to police.
What should a city the size of St. Louis, so just under 300,000 people, plus all the business and everything, what should a staffing number look like for the city of St. Louis?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. Per capita, 600 to 700. But by crime, we need well over 1,000.
Yeah.
We need 1,200. Easy to handle all the calls safely. When I was with the department before I had left, it was right at 1,000, and we were managing the calls. We were still holding a lot of calls, but that's when I would have 10 officers on the street on any given shift, 12 officers on the street. Now they have 2 handling the same amount of calls, if not more.
No.
You just can't do it. You can't do it safely.
Yeah. And so we're hundreds of officers short right now.
Yes.
At this point, and the mayor's saying, I want that
less.
I mean, I'm trying to take my partisan divide hat off on this. But when you look at the crime rate, and I know that let's be honest, they're cooking the books when it comes to the crime rates.
Yes,
they're arguing crime is down 20%. Does anybody believe that?
No. They're reclassifying the crimes.
Right.
They're reclassifying what should be a burglary. They're classifying it to a trespassing. What should be, also a burglary. They're just stolen property. So certain crimes that have to be committed. And there was even, and no lie, and please, it's not a joke. There was 2 gang members shooting at each other and they killed each other. They ruled it self-defense.
No, on both.
So it wasn't 2 homicides. It was self-defense.
Well, and my understanding is if there's like, for instance, a string of car break-ins, like my daughter's car has been broken in a couple times, and whether it's one vehicle or 30 vehicles, it's one incident.
It's one incident. Yes.
So they have really boiled down the books.
Yes.
To do that. And Mary Teresa, you've been involved in policy and politics here for years as well. The people around the city understand what's happening, but there's that divide between what the people are demanding and what the machine is putting into office and making decisions on the city level. And people are literally less safe and unprotected in the city as a result.
Very much so. And when you say, talk to anybody in the city, yes, all you have to do is just mildly bring it up in conversation.
Yeah.
And people that are like, if you're out in a public area,
lift it up a little more.
There you go. Yep.
Okay. If you're out in a public area and you say something, to just one other person. Somebody 4 feet away will hear, and then all of a sudden they'll come over, and then pretty soon you got a pretty good group. And it's all about that, the crime, and that people just do not feel safe here. This is a very simplistic black and white answer here, but it's a beginning, and that is we have no Republicans in City Hall. We have not had a Republican in City Hall for years. The last time we had a Republican mayor was 1949. There is something very wrong with that. If we had some Republicans in City Hall, I think there'd be a voice. And I believe that is a basic problem that we have. And until we get that fixed and we get some balance in City Hall, what I'd really like to see is, we have half of the aldermen women Republican, half Democrat, and a Republican mayor. I mean, and that's not going to bring nirvana. That's not going to bring heaven on earth in St. Louis City, but it will definitely right some wrongs.
Yeah, one of the things that that always strikes me is how disconnected, and Mike, you touched on this already, how disconnected the people are from their representatives when it comes to this. And I guess voting Republican, I guess, would at least alleviate some of that, but it doesn't seem to translate. Like, for some reason, the people, when they go to the ballot box, they're still voting the same people who are causing the problems. So,
right.
So how do you get through to them?
It's a machine, man.
Yeah.
It is a machine. By being silent about it, that's certainly not going to help.
Mm-hmm.
Every chance I get, I preach this message, and I get, like, I'm right here at this table. Your eyes are lit up. There's energy. Yes, that's what we need. It never falls flat when I bring that subject up. It never falls flat, no matter if it's in a family setting, if it's in a group setting like we are now, if it's where I'm speaking and there's a small group. I can see their eyes light up. It's like, yes, that would really go a long way in fixing it. If we don't get that problem fixed, I just don't. I think we're going to always be chasing our tails.
Okay, so in the meantime, though, we can still help the officers and their families
Exactly.
through, among other things, the David Dorn Foundation. And let's give out that website one more time. And what are the most immediate needs that your foundation is helping with at the moment, so people understand they get involved and help that. This is literally what they're doing right now.
Equipment and education are our first right now, and mental health services. We do help with mental health services with anyone who needs them. After TJ was injured, that took a toll on a lot of those guys, and then the city guys with losing Lee.
Right.
It's a mental health toll, and if you don't have a healthy department mentally, you're going to get complaints. You're going to have problems. So that's a big priority for me as well. But it's raising funds, getting sponsors, getting donors on a regular basis, because we buy equipment. We do the equipment, we do education, and we do mental health. So those are our 3 top priorities right now. And now we have the fundraiser coming up in December 19th. Yep. It's a Thursday. It's a happy hour, 6 to 10. Again, you can find us at dornfoundation.com. You can find us on Facebook, Captain David Dorn Foundation. You can find it on my page, or our phone number is 314-791-9488, and that'll directly to me.
Okay.
And I'll be able to get that call and then take any donations we need. Right now for our we need money all the time. We can't buy anything unless we have money.
Right.
For the officers, but then for the dinner or for the charity event, we're looking for food donations. We're looking for paper plates, paper products, and we're looking for candy or little toys for Santa to give away to the kids.
Sure. Right. Absolutely.
But anybody that wants to come, unwrap gifts, gift cards, bring them with you, and we'll be distributing them to first responders, not just police, firemen, EMS in need.
All right. Ann Dorn, Mary Teresa McLean, great to chat with you all again.
Thank you. Yes.
Thanks so much.
Always good to be with you guys.
And I noticed that you're getting some breakfast over here.
Probably, yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
At Nadine's Hash House here in Soulard. So come on out and say hi. We're at 1802 South Broadway. This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Attention
Attention thrill seekers and fun lovers. Did you know the Midwest's largest wooden roller rink is right here in Missouri? Welcome to Piccadilly Palace, your ultimate family entertainment destination. Glide across our massive skating floor, conquer arcade challenges, put your way through mini golf, and dive into cutting-edge virtual reality experiences. And coming soon, a relaxing bar and grill patio, state-of-the-art golf simulators, and heart-pounding two-story go-kart racing next to East Central College in Union, Missouri. Plan your visit now at PiccadillyPalace.com. That's PiccadillyPalace.com.
Looking to enhance your outdoor space? Trust Lime Concrete Block, your local expert since 1947. From Vertiblock and retaining walls to ready-mix concrete and outdoor kits, we've got all your residential and commercial needs covered. As a family-owned business, we take pride in our A+ BBB rating and industry affiliations, with special discounts for military and first responders. Whether you're a homeowner, contractor, or distributor, make a decision set in stone. Call 314-638-9940 or visit our showroom today.
Ready to cut a deal? Your new John Deere compact tractor is waiting at Seidenstricker Novi Partners. Get 0% financing for 84 months with zero down, or get 0% financing for 60 months, plus save up to an additional $2,000 on select compact tractors. Come see us at one of our 28 locations or visit us online at snpartners.com and let's cut a deal today. Seidenstricker Novi, your partner for the land.
Offer valid through 10/25/2024. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Hey, want to amaze your friends when they visit? They will be impressed when they see your custom-made drapes, blinds, or shutters. Michael Proctor will personally help you pick out the correct colors to truly showcase your home. Then he will actually design and personally install everything. No overhead markup. That's going to save you a lot of money on drapes, blinds, or shutters.
Call for an appointment at your home. Spell Proctor like doctor.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
All your hard-earned tax dollars and mine are going to fund illegal aliens who come across the border penniless, jobless, skillless, and they're given a cell phone, an identity, and a cash stipend every month.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
That beats your Social Security income if you should have the good nature to work your ass off your whole life and retire.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL. Brought to you in part by Modern Weapon Systems in Fenton.
In the fast-paced world of digital marketing, making connections is a challenge for any business. But what if we told you there is a place where connections aren't just made, they're grown? Meet 2060 Digital, your premier Google partner and top-tier digital agency. We don't just follow trends, we set them. At 2060 Digital, we're not just another agency, we're your strategic partner. We dive deep into your challenges and develop solutions that drive measurable outcomes. Ready to elevate your digital presence with campaigns that connect? Google 2060 Digital today.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com.
Hey, this is Larry Connors. Make sure you're listening later today at 6 o'clock on News Talk STL for my show, Larry Connors USA. Now, back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, we got a lot of ground to cover here. We're out at Nadine's Hash House on Soulard, 1802 South Broadway. I can attest the food is darn good.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. So good.
And I've had way too much of the coffee. So come on out. We're going to be here for over another hour. I'm probably going to hang out a little bit after that as well. Mike Ferguson here. Gabe Pfeiffer's here. Joey V's here. Stell, of course, in the studio as well. We are always love getting out to just get out of the studio.
Yes,
absolutely. And it's fun, man. There's a lot of people here. Okay, here's what we still have coming up here for the next hour plus that we've got. Alderwoman Cara Spencer going to be with us at 8:05. Obviously, talking about what's happening in the city. She is running for mayor,
right?
So we are going to discuss that campaign as well. Here's the thing: conservatives, Republicans in the St. Louis city, you don't have a candidate. Running.
Yeah.
So let's compare and contrast.
Right.
And we're going to talk to her about that. And then a little bit later, I want to make sure we can get in a little bit on this. Basically, a survey came out and it says, to nobody's surprise, basically nobody trusts media.
Yeah. Nobody's shocked.
I have been in media for over 28 years, and I can't tell you how much I agree with that. So we're going to do that as well. And then at 8:35, we're going to talk to Cara at 8:05. At 8:35, let's also go back on the campaign trail. Jim Povolis is running for state representative in one of the districts right here in the city. We're going to hear from him as well. Okay, so real quick here, the weirdo days observances out there.
Yeah,
I was looking around this morning when I got in. It is Global Cat Day.
That's right.
As opposed to International Cat Day, which is in August.
Yeah, we already
and
had
as
that
opposed
one.
to National Cat Day, which is I don't know when, but it's Global Cat Day because we don't have enough cat days.
Right. And then there's of course there's Sassy Day,
which is your
which is celebrating my cat, which my wife does every day.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah, she does.
So I actually did the Cat Day hashtag thing because if you start to type it in, it actually pops up.
Oh, it
there are
fills
that
in.
many people.
And I'm sure there's like a little cat emoji or something. that says
Probably.
it.
Yeah. So I'm like, why not? I'll be that much of a nerd anyway. So if you go to AVP Radio Show on X, Twitter, I went ahead and put up the pictures there because why the heck not?
Oh, absolutely. The internet was made to share cat pictures.
I think
and
the internet
videos.
was invented just for cats.
I think so too.
Right.
I think the cats would agree. For sure.
Of course they would,
Yes.
because they're in charge.
Yes.
There as well. So if you want to see that, or people can throw them in the comments of the
yeah,
Facebook. And the funny thing is, every time something comes up on that, we say, hey, put it in the comments. People do it.
Oh, yeah.
It's there, and it's a lot of fun. So I put mine up on, like I said, I put mine up on the Twitter accounts. So if you can do that. All right, Alderwoman Cara Spencer, running for mayor in St. Louis, going to be with us at 8:05, and we are here at Nadine's Hash House in Soulard. Come on out. We're going to be here for at least another hour.
Katie here. When it comes to your home's comfort, you don't need gimmicks, you need guarantees. At Elite Comfort Experts, we're your hometown comfort heroes. No flashy deals, just reliable service you can count on every time. From tune-ups to total system replacements, we're here to keep your family comfortable year-round. No nonsense, just expert care because your home deserves the best. Call Elite Comfort Experts today, where hometown service meets real results. Elite Comfort Experts, St. Charles' trusted hometown comfort heroes. Call Elite at 636-887-0971.
Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta, now open in the district of Chesterfield Valley. Napoli has the only coal-fired pizza oven. That means an incredible taste you cannot get anywhere else. So enjoy a unique pizza at Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta in the district. And then walk a few doors down and enjoy premium cigars and drinks at Lit Cigar Lounge. There's a perfect way to end the evening. Napoli Pizza followed by Lit Cigar Lounge, a winning combination.
Hi, it's Dr. Randy Tobler, along with daughter Sammy Tobler-Gregory, a team member here at our family-owned Body of Health Direct Primary Care Practice. Sammy, what are patients telling you about their experience at Body of Health?
I can't tell you how many patients I've had come to me and tell me they just so appreciate getting to sit across the table with their doctor and chat about whatever's going on with their healthcare needs for however long they need.
Want to learn more about healthcare the way it ought to be? Schedule a discovery call at bodyofhealth.com. That's bodyofhealth.com.
Craving farm fresh goodness since 1997? Anthony's Produce is your one-stop autumn wonderland. We're talking pumpkins bigger than your head, mums so hearty they'll outlast your mother-in-law's visit, and straw bales perfect for decorating. Need firewood? They'll deliver enough to keep you toasty till the cows come home. Plus, fruit and veggie trays so fresh they'll make your taste buds do a happy dance. Anthony's Produce in the heart of St. Peter's. Check him out at anthonysproduce.com and tell him News Talk STL sent you.
Parents want more choices rather than fewer when it comes to their children's education. And now some Missouri parents will have one more option to get their children the best education available. Low-income students and those with disabilities in Missouri's largest communities can now apply for an Empowerment Scholarship Account, or ESA. With an ESA, the money the state would normally pay to your child's public school goes into an account that you control. You can use the funds for private school tuition, online learning programs, a private tutor, or other approved uses. You can tailor your child's education. For too long, Missouri officials have operated on the mistaken notion that parents only need one choice. They're assigned public school based on their address. ESAs put parents in charge. It's school choice at its best, with money following the students to the place that best fits their needs. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. This Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Greg Clugston in Washington.
Israeli jet struck southern Lebanon and Beirut's southern suburbs today, killing at least 21 people, including a city mayor. Meanwhile, the Biden administration is telling Israel to address the worsening humanitarian crisis in Gaza and to do so within 30 days, or risk losing U.S. weapons assistance. Tragedy in Nigeria, where more than 100 people were killed when a fuel tanker exploded overnight. Details from the BBC's Chris Iwoker.
The police in Jigawa State told the BBC that the victims were collecting petrol, which was leaking from the broken-down truck when a spark triggered an explosion. A police spokesman said the area had been cordoned off and people were repeatedly warned not to go near the place. He said the crowd overpowered the police and started scooping the leaked fuel off the road. Many of the victims were burnt beyond recognition. Dozens of others who survived sustained serious injuries.
A new Gallup poll says Americans have more trust in their state and local governments than they do in Congress or the media.
67% of those responding to the poll said they had a great deal or fair amount of trust in their local government. Compare that to just 34% who say the same about Congress and 31% who say they trust the mass media to report the news, quote, fully, accurately, and fairly. 55% say they trust their state governments. Bob Agnew reporting.
Ukrainian President Zelensky says his plan to win his country's fight against Russia's invasion could bring peace next year, but it contains a step that some crucial Western allies have so far refused to support, and that is inviting Ukraine to join NATO before the war ends. More on these stories online at townhall.com.
Anyone with everyday aches and pains, I've got a question. What are you missing out on? Probably a lot. So let me tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. It doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In about 3 weeks, you'll discover what it's like to feel better. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4RELIEF.
The Pope is dead. From Focus Features comes the electrifying new film, Conclave.
We're about to choose the most famous man in the world.
Based on the international best-selling thriller.
The Pope discovered something before he died.
Rafe Fiennes, Stanley Tucci.
Ambition becomes corruption.
John Lithgow and Isabella Rossellini.
We sisters have eyes and ears.
Top critics are raving. Conclave is hands down the best picture of the year.
I have to find the truth.
Conclave, rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Only in theaters October 25th.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
After the coldest morning since April, sunny skies will help us climb to about 61 this afternoon in St. Louis. Just a light breeze out of the northwest. Another cold night tonight as we dip to 39 early Thursday morning, but rural areas will be flirting with freezing again, and some frost is possible. But boy, Thursday afternoon, we bounce back to 69 under sunny skies, and then highs in the 70s from Friday through the upcoming weekend. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
To our brave police officers and first responders, we say thank you for risking your lives to protect us. To all the incredible volunteers who've joined hands with the David Dorn Foundation to raise funds for equipment and services, we extend our heartfelt gratitude. We stand strong with our volunteers who give their time, talent, and dedication as a shield of support for those who rush into danger. The David Dorn Foundation gives a big thank you from our heart to yours. Visit dornfoundation.com and join as a volunteer.
Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor. Congratulations to the awesome team at Connor Roofing for earning the 2024 National Best of the Best Award for Customer Satisfaction. Connor Roofing has now won back-to-back honors because they do outstanding work in all types of roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. We chose Connor Roofing without telling the owners, Rob and Kathy Connor. Their customer reviews are some of the best in the country. Please read them. Visit ConnorRoofing.com and request an estimate. Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor.
Mike Ferguson.
Are you pretending to be crazy?
Gabe Pfeiffer.
There's something serious I have to tell you about the future.
Get up, in case you hear the alarm.
Get up, St. Louis.
Will you guys knock it off?
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin Rob.
All right, obviously all eyes are on the elections coming up here in less than 3 weeks. Everybody's talking about the presidential race, and of course, we're looking at races on both sides of the state line. There's also a big decision that St. Louis is going to be making that's going to have repercussions throughout the entire region, and that's who's going to be the mayor after the next municipal elections. And we're going to get into that in just a minute because there's so much going on with the city that affects the rest of the region. I'm Mike Ferguson. It is 8:05 right now. Got Gabe Pfeiffer here. Joey V is with us, and we are at Nadine's Hash House, 1802 South Broadway in Soulard, and we're going to be here for obviously the rest of the show. Come on out. I can attest the food is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I had way too much coffee, but
you are bouncing
really
a little bit.
I'm left you some coffee, so come on out and do that. And of course, Stell is in the studio saying, "Where is my damn Greek omelet?"
Right.
That's what
Yes, he's still waiting.
We're finding out. We're going to find a way to get it to you, Stell. Joined now by Alderwoman Cara Spencer, who's with us, of course, running for mayor as well, which we'll get into here in just a couple minutes. And Cara probably don't remember me, but years ago when I did the TV show, you came on a couple of times talking about, I think it was consumer protection issues. Was it Consumer Council? I think you were with at the time before you got elected to the Board of Aldermen. So good to chat with you again. It's been a long time. Let me start with kind of the big news this week. Obviously, another big business says we're leaving. Next year, Fleischmann-Hillard, hundreds of high-paid employees are leaving. They're going to Clayton, going to the county. It is it wouldn't even be big news, except it's such a big name that's been around the city since 1950, whatever. On this, this has got to be kind of a gut punch around City Hall. First of all, what's the reaction to that? And at some point, how does the conversation go to say, how do we stop the bleeding of all these businesses that are leaving the city?
Yeah, look, I mean, it was a huge blow. And I think we're going to feel this not just in the population downtown, but certainly in our revenue stream. I mean, as you mentioned, these are high paid folks. They pay a lot in the earnings tax and just in the general, retail commerce activity going on downtown, buying lunch and going out to eat and that sort of things. I mean, it really is going to have a big ripple impact. I can't speak for my colleagues, but I can tell you, I'm taking this pretty hard. I heard rumblings. They were thinking about leaving. I reached out to their new CEO a few weeks ago. Of course, the position of an alderperson has very limited ability to really turn these things around. But I'm certainly disappointed to learn from the Business Journal that there was really no interaction with the mayor's office, and that's a big problem.
Yeah, moves are expensive, and they're not cutting their workforce. So they're just basically, we're picking up our business and we're moving it into another area. Obviously, a lot of the critiques, a lot of people are saying, okay, well, we've got public safety issues in the city. We've got, if you're a young family, if you're a young up and coming, especially a creative type, like a public relations person's going to be, you don't want your kids probably in the St. Louis Public School District because of all the problems they've got and the performances we're seeing. So you're seeing large scale systematic shortfalls without the city. So we're talking a lot of basic things that people are saying the city isn't doing right now. Where do we start? I mean, we've had the ideological debates. We've had the results that are just brutal. So where do we go from here? What's the appetite for change in City Hall right now?
Look, I think the appetite for change is pretty big. We just came out of a fundraising quarter that ended yesterday, and we outraised the sitting mayor quite significantly in our fundraising quarter, which is almost unheard of. I think, that really speaks to a lot of people, certainly donors, but just regular citizens that are throwing $5, $10 my way. They're ready for change. Where do we start? We talk a lot about our challenges, but we have some absolutely incredible assets. I mean, our downtown truly is stunning. The National Monument that you can see right outside of Nadine's right here, is absolutely gorgeous. And we have some incredible amenities to build on. You talked about the school district. Look, my son goes to St. Louis Public Schools. And yes, there are some challenges, but my 13-year-old son is absolutely thriving at McKinley Middle. And there are some really good schools within that system. And I think, just building off of those, really taking a look at how we need to improve the systems. I mean, clearly having the school district's budget flip right upside down is enormously problematic. But that's really the result of, having very little engagement, I think, from the, in a professional capacity sense when it comes to oversight. And so as mayor, what I'm going to do when it comes specifically to the school district is have a member of my cabinet engaged in the schools, and their sole responsibility will be to provide some oversight and, frankly, some professional capacity to that board.
Okay, I know Gabe's got a question here. This is truly a question out of a state of ignorance on that. What does the city charter allow when it comes to the mayor's office and the school district? In most cities, those are separate things, but I don't sense that that's necessarily the case in the city here.
It is a separate thing here as well, and that's really governed by the state. Right. So we have the boundaries are exactly the same, the school district and the city itself, right? And so most people think that the city itself has some power over the school district, and we don't. The school district is governed by an elected school board, which, by the way, we have many members of that school board up for election at the same time as the mayor. And so that's a really important point here, because we need our citizens to engage not just on their aldermanic and, who's running for mayor, but on that governing board. But like I said, these are volunteers. And so, you get folks, they're having meetings a couple times, a month, but for just a couple of hours at a time. So it's a very, very small amount of engagement. And what I believe that the mayor's office can do is really add some agency to that board structure by having a dedicated professional, educational professional in that space with them to really help provide some oversight. It is unbelievable that the administration has no idea that there aren't going to be buses showing up on day one a week before. I mean, when I'm mayor, that will frankly never happen. And so, having some oversight by way of, a member of the cabinet participating, I think will really help.
Now, every time we have someone who's running for office and we talk to them, I kind of feel it's my duty to ask what your druthers are. Basically, kind of everybody has their list of agenda thing, and they have that one top item that really gets their goat. It's really where their passion is. And what is that for you? What is your number one agenda item?
It is, as boring as it is, it's good government. I got into this, trying to turn around this neighborhood. Nadine's right here is a part of the 8th Ward, and the ward I represent. But before that, the 20th Ward, which really ran Broadway, Park, Dutchtown, some of the most challenged neighborhoods in our city. I got in to really try to help bring basic city services up a notch in that district that was really struggling to get the trash picked up and those things like that. So really focusing on the bread and butter, the basics of city government is really something I'm very passionate about, because quite frankly, it makes a huge difference in people's everyday lived experiences. And that's really important to turning a neighborhood around. It's really important to turning a city around. But on that same token, though, you've probably seen me in the news on issues like airport privatization, fighting some of these things that I think were really bad at the end of the day, a bad deal for taxpayers. And I think it's really important that we're judicious with how we spend tax dollars. I think government, when efficiently, effectively, can be it really can be a very, very successful underpinning, a very important structure for business to even come in and exist. I mean, you have to have functional roads outside. You have to have public safety. You have to have the basics done right for a city to work.
Yeah, I want to get to the public safety. I mean, you mentioned the trash. I mean, it was a year and a half ago that we had trash piling up in parts of South City. They couldn't get the trucks there. I mean,
it's not a year and a half ago. I mean, that still happens.
Is that
really?
is happening? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
wow.
Look, we have, refuse department that's woefully understaffed. We have guys right now that are working 6, some of them 7 days a week to try to get all the routes in the city. It's a heavy burden to do that.
How the hell does that fall through the cracks? I mean, something so basic like trash. I mean, that's just such a basic functional thing.
I mean, look, we are looking at a personnel deficit, deficit of human, personal, the staffing of city departments that's about 30% across the board. And so what that means is, you have 70% of the workforce that you need to pick up the trash. And as I mentioned earlier, we're working guys, all day, every day, just to try to get the basics done. And that's a real problem. We need to have a focus on hiring folks that's specific to the departments, that's, recruiting people where they are, modernize, the hiring process, streamline it, and get those folks in the door.
And this is all while you're losing revenue because various businesses are checking out, right?
It's absolutely true. And it's not just businesses that are checking out. Right now, we are seeing population loss in the city that is unprecedented. I mean, the loss of, residents over the last 4 years has been devastating. We're looking at a net 20,000 people having left the city of St. Louis just since 2020. That's a net of about 7% of our city's population out the door, and they are not taking their roads with them. They're not taking their parks. We don't want them to, of course, but it means that the infrastructure paying to keep that up is falling on a smaller number of taxpayers at the end of the day, which means we're all going to shoulder just a little bit more.
We're visiting with Alderwoman Cara Spencer, City of St. Louis. I can't not ask about emergency services, particularly police.
Sure.
Departments, they're saying staffing, the number of officers, way below what it should be. Where should the city go? Seems like there's almost more of an ideological argument over public safety and police as there is a logistical administrative argument. So how do we fix St. Louis City and make it safer? It can't be just a matter of staffing, although I couldn't imagine anybody saying that the staffing, I can't imagine anybody saying the staffing is where it should be right
now. No, I mean, look, the staffing is a major component about it. Make no mistake. I mean, look, we are down 502 positions in the police department as of last week. 502. Over 400 of those positions are uniformed police officers. 400. So, I mean, and we're heading in the wrong direction. I mean, at the beginning of this year, we had a deficit in the police department of, around 27%. That's gone up to 29%. So again, the trend is in the wrong direction, but we do need to get serious about filling those positions. We talk a lot about putting more money into the police department. The reality is we're not spending the money that we put in the police department right now because we're not paying officers in those empty positions. And that's a big deal. When we looked at last week, the city announced an enormous budget, a revenue surplus, $42 million.
Yeah.
Half of that was driven by open positions. And that is a real problem. That is a promise to the taxpayer, the residents, for services that were not delivered. And this is an enormous problem.
What's the holdup? I mean, why can't these positions get filled, or why won't they get filled? I mean, we know this is a basic city service that's just not being delivered.
Look, I mean, it's really hard to get to the specifics from my vantage point, but I can tell you what I think's going on. I mean, for one thing, the metrics haven't been there. I do chair the Budget and Public Employees Committee, and in that role have requested that the personnel department, on a monthly basis, provide basic metrics. And I'm talking about vacancies. I'm talking about the time it takes for an applicant to get a call back. I'm talking about the time it takes for the departments to get applicants in the door. These are important metrics because what I'm hearing time and time again from departments is that we put in a requisition and we want these positions filled, and we're not hearing back. We're not getting applicants for 6 months, 12 months. This is a big problem. I'm hearing from applicants that they're applying and not getting calls back for 6 months, and by that time they've moved on. They've decided, I don't want to work for an organization that's not going to call me back for 6 months, and that's a reasonable conclusion for a prospective worker to have. And so we've got to streamline those. There's got to be metrics. And day one, I'm going to put those kinds of metrics in place. So we're going to know exactly where the gaps are, exactly where people are falling through the cracks, and exactly why we're not getting people in the door.
Speaking of metrics, I think a lot of people have a bone to pick with the way the city is currently looking at crime, and they're reporting crime being down when everybody's lived experience says otherwise, right? And then and we look at some of the details of how those things are doing. We just talked to Dorn. Some of these felony break-ins, burglary is being knocked down to like a misdemeanor trespass or something like that. So then all of the numbers look good, quote unquote good, and then
multiple victims being listed as one crime,
as one crime,
multiple crimes.
And those type of things. And I guess in that regard, you could use the quote unquote good numbers to justify not doing the job of recruiting, not doing the job of filling these. But how do we fix that aspect of getting the metrics to underlie reality?
I mean, that's a great point, and something that's been on my mind a lot as well. We have some great professional number runners, if you will, in the region. Ness Sandoval comes to mind, who is out of St. Louis University. He was really the one championing the police department making those numbers public again. He was, he has really been, I would say, the go-to when it comes to understanding metrics, leaning into folks that are not political, okay, that are in doing this work in a professional capacity outside of city government. Engage those folks to really add a layer of, just basic professionalism. Take the politics, take the end result, the desired result out of it, and professionalize how we are delivering those metrics to the general public, and make some, I think transparency and trust is absolutely key. It's something that's missing from the equation right now. Everything from these grants going in North St. Louis all over the place, to a jail commissioner that is missing in action. We have no idea if she's even still a city employee. We do know people are continuing to have problems in the jail. A failure to let folks in is a breakdown in the criminal justice system, and it's a breakdown in trust in that much needed arena to deliver a functional society.
All right, I've got enough questions for the rest of the day. Which we don't have, but Cara Spencer, Alderwoman, running for mayor as well. Website, social media, if people want to learn what you're all about.
Yeah, please do. CaraSpencer.com. That's our website. Our socials are all on there. But look, we've got
Cara with a C.
That's right, Cara with a C. And we've got 6 months to go, or excuse me, 5 months to go. And so there's a lot of time to engage. I'm always happy to answer questions and talk about the issues affecting St. Louis.
All right. Cara, thanks so much for stopping by. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, 314-912-1019. We got a lot of ground to cover, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's good stuff. All right, let's talk about it. 314-912-1019. This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL, live from Nadine's Hash House in Soulard.
Don't try to make me stop. No inspiration. You have a soul so dark, it is no more.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL.
To fight your war. Stop it right now.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Turn my eyes to your indifference. Stop it right now.
Dreaming of upgrading your outdoor space? STL Fenceworks is the choice for you. Our skilled craftsmen build custom fences from modern vinyl to classic ornamental, fitting your style and budget. Elevate your outdoor living with low-maintenance decks designed to relax and entertain. We choose only top-quality American-made materials, ensuring your project is built to last. Your satisfaction is our passion. With over 50 years of experience, custom designs, and exceptional customer service, visit stlfenceworks.com today.
Are you ready to stand up for life? Meet Navy veteran and Republican candidate for State Senate District 1, Robert Crump. Endorsed by Missouri Right to Life, Crump is a fierce guardian for all life, from the unborn to the elderly. He stands strong like the Gateway Arch, bold and unshakable with the force of freedom. Robert Crump is the clear choice for traditional family values. Go for the leader who will protect our most vulnerable. Robert Crump.
Paid for by Crump for State Senate 2024. Chris Clark, Treasurer.
Tim Jones here for AMF Electric, in business since 1965, offering a full line of industrial, commercial, residential, electrical, and system services. AMF is a merit shop. They work successfully for all owners who favor freedom of economic choice. Yes, even on other AFL trades jobs. At AMF Electric, they're unabashedly pro-American. Call them 314-647-4066. Online, amfelectric.com. That's amfelectric.com.
Chris Cooper, host of Serenity Wealth Now.
October is estate planning month. It's an important topic, not something we want to talk about. What happens after we pass away? Something happens to us and we cannot make decisions for ourselves. Well, folks, you have to have these conversations while you can, because if you don't have these conversations, somebody has a plan for you. You know who it is? It's either the government or maybe it's a family member that hasn't had this conversation with you. So if you don't talk about this with your family, with your friends, with your loved ones, and you don't put those plans into place, the government's going to have a plan for you. We have these conversations all year long. But with October being estate planning month, we are hosting a workshop Tuesday the 22nd, Thursday the 24th over at Stone Summit Steak and Seafood. Very important topics. We're going to talk about wills. We're going to talk about trust. We're going to talk about advanced directives, tax mitigation strategies, how to preserve and protect your legacy. Our financial goals outlive us. Make sure you attend. Join us. The information is right there on our website, serenitywealthnow.com. That is serenitywealthnow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors.
Oh, Adam, you are so romantic. And I love the kitchen you found with all these great crumbs.
Yeah, baby, only the finest crumbs in the kitchen for my favorite aunt. Oh no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They always kill the mood.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888. We'd love to help you out. Learn more about our special $67 offer. You can visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Love the music you hear on the morning show? Check out Mike's morning music playlist at newstalkstl.com.
All right, it's 8:26. I'm Mike. Got Gabe here. Got Joey V here at Nadine's Hash House. Stell is in the studio as well. We're at 1802 South Broadway. I'm going to hang out a little bit after 9 o'clock here, but we're doing the whole show from here. Where should we go next? Gabe, that's the question, is what's next? I have really enjoyed hanging out here at Nadine's. And, I love it when people come in and say hi and, hey, what about this? So,
or even more so when they give us their online handle.
That's right. And we meet you in person. Finally.
Yes, that's really cool.
So here's the thing. Where should we go next? Yes. You tell us. You can email us or give us a call or send us a note on social media because I love doing this. One of the things I wanted, and Gabe and I were just talking about this after we got done talking with Cara Spencer, Alderwoman Cara Spencer, running for mayor.
Yes.
And first of all, give a lot of credit there. St. Louis, obviously a very leftist government. They know we are a conservative station, and she came out and said, "Let's take your questions."
Oh yeah,
and we invited her, and we talked.
It was a good exchange.
It was, and so here's the thing: we know how bad the Tashara Jones administration is for the city and has been.
Yes,
there are no conservatives in this race,
right?
And there are not going to be any conservatives in this race,
right? So your choices are what they are.
So you're right, exactly. So when we're talking to the candidates, we're just going to get as honest of a look at where they're coming from and what their leadership style would be as possible on this. So, I give a lot of credit for, Cara coming out and knowing that she's going to be taking questions from the other side.
Yeah.
And she didn't blink about that. So,
yeah. I mean, basically, we're looking at the Venn diagrams, right? It's like, she has a lot of overlap with Tashara Jones, obviously, but Tashara Jones has almost like no overlap with the Republicans who live in the city, right? So hey, Republicans, by the way, at the very least, we agree that you shouldn't count a felony burglary as a misdemeanor trespass.
And that's the other thing is that when you talk about a city government, there should be less room for the partisan ideological stuff. And it's just been captured in the city government to where that seems to be the driving force. And when that happens, you have the basic services that just fall to crap.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what we're seeing, whether it's trash and police and all of these other things. And when we're talking about fixing it, listen, a Democrat is capable of fixing basic services in the government. Just for whatever reason, they haven't chosen to do it in the city.
Right.
I mean, and technically these are nonpartisan positions, but we know that there are no conservatives, no Republicans. So the voters are going to have to say, okay, who are the people who are going to fix the problems? And part of that is just focusing on the actual city government administrative logistics, rubber meets the road things like trash, like police, like fire, like things like that, and stop with the ideological nonsense.
Yeah, it feels as though on some level, for local politicians, national leftism has become sort of a litmus test for whether or not you can occupy the offices, even though those national level issues aren't necessarily the ones that are that address the problems that people have when the rubber hits the road. even if you vote Democrat, you want your streets to be safe,
right? Yes.
Right? Yeah. You want your trash to be picked up. Like you said, it shouldn't be a partisan issue.
Yeah, and this affects the rest of the region. You know, obviously the cities, the deficiencies in the city government is a boon for Clayton right now.
Right.
You know, Fleischman Hillard next year moving their entire headquarters and operations into the county. Not the first business to do it, not the last.
Right.
You know, so you're going to have another reduction in everything happens, and it's because they are running a poor city government. Period.
Now, one thing I will say about, even though people are saying that St. Louis, and this is true, St. Louis is becoming more and more irrelevant to the region. I think in large part, there is an aspect of St. Louis that could be a positive for the region in terms of attracting national level corporations.
Correct.
Corporations are looking for, like, okay, where are we going to put my headquarters? Some business owner, where am I going to put my headquarters? Chicago, New York, LA. St. Louis should be in the conversation, and it's not right now.
St. Louis should beat Chicago every time just because of the cost of living and the tax.
Absolutely.
So the fact that they're not,
that
tells you it's bad city government, bad administration, bad leadership.
There it is.
All right, let's talk a little more about the run for the State House just ahead right here on right here about 8:34 here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Mama said,
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
After the coldest morning since April, sunny skies will help us climb to about 61 this afternoon in St. Louis. Just a light breeze out of the northwest. Another cold night tonight as we dip to 39 early Thursday morning, but rural areas will be flirting with freezing again, and some frost is possible. But boy, Thursday afternoon, we bounce back to 69 under sunny skies, and then highs in the 70s from Friday through the upcoming weekend. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt
Fox News commentary.
Someone over at Team Kamala saw the polling on black male voters and came up with a solution: a totally unconstitutional, race-based loan forgiveness and weed. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Hey, Donald Trump Jr. here. Central banks are buying gold at record amounts, and the trend is accelerating in 2024. They see the writing on the wall. The dollar is failing. Is gold the answer for you too? To find out, get a free info kit from Birch Gold Group by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold, the only gold company I trust right now.
Message and data rates may apply.
Kamala's favorability with black male voters is slipping, and now, just weeks before the election, she's devised a plan to win them over. She unveiled her opportunity agenda for black men, and it's a doozy. Pillar one of her plan is to provide 1 million loans that are fully forgivable up to $20,000 for black entrepreneurs. I'm pretty sure offering loan forgiveness on the basis of race is unconstitutional and violates the Civil Rights Act. It's also pretty racist and exclusionary, but that's not even the most insulting part of her plan. Her final pillar is a promise to legalize recreational weed. That's downright demeaning, and it goes to show that Kamala sees black men as caricatures, as if race-based loans and weed is what they care most about. But that is the Kamala Harris campaign in a nutshell: empty, vapid, and based entirely on gimmicks and identity politics. I'm Tommy Lahren.
Hi, it's Ken Williams, and my favorite Capriati sandwich is the Capastrami. You've got hot pastrami, melty Swiss cheese, crunchy coleslaw, and zesty Russian dressing. What else do you need? I love Capriati's, and you will too.
On Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill.
Tim Jones here. I want to tell you about an awesome business located in my hometown of Eureka, Missouri that we use all the time for our exterior homestead needs. Eureka Contracting and Roofing. Veteran owned. They will come to you and schedule a one-on-one consultation. They know that replacing your roof or anything on the exterior of your home is always a really big deal, which is why they've always got a no pressure, no obligation inspection and evaluation. Fully licensed and insured. Nothing but the highest quality of materials made right here in the USA. 636-938-ROOF. 636-938-ROOF, EurekaContracting.com. That's EurekaContracting.com.
Fall is hopping in Mount Vernon, Illinois. Every weekend, enjoy festivals and events, including the third Saturdays in Mount Vernon Flea Market and Vendor Fair, concerts at the Granada Theater, special events at C.E. Brem Memorial Library, Rev Up at Mount Vernon Fall Fest, Cedarhurst Ironclad Art Motorcycle Show, Jefferson County Historical Village Heritage Festival, and so much more. Celebrate creativity redefined all month long in Mount Vernon, Illinois. Find out more information at enjoymountvernon.com. Brought to you in part by Mount Vernon Tourism and Enjoy Illinois.
Getting new flooring can be exciting, or it can be a hassle. To make sure you have a great experience, use Michael's Flooring, like I did. Hi, it's Susie Moore, and Michael's Flooring has become my go-to for quality, variety, and an all-around great experience. They've been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, natural stone, luxury vinyl, it doesn't matter. Michael's Flooring is ready to help. 3 locations to pick from: St. Peter's, Darting Prairie, and Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloor.com. That's igotfloor.com.
News, analysis, opinion.
Being president is a very dangerous job.
There has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump.
101.9 and 94.1.
I'm not a threat to democracy, they are.
News Talk STL.
Dan Bongino here. Keep it on News Talk STL because my show starts at 11 a.m. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I still want to have this conversation, Gabe. There was a new survey that came out about the trust in the media of this country.
Right.
To nobody's surprise, it's very, very, very low, although frankly higher than it probably should be.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so 850. Let's do that in about 15 minutes or so.
Yes, as members of the media, let's tell on ourselves.
Yes, I will. All right, 8:36 right now. I'm Mike Ferguson. Gabe Pfeiffer's here. We are with Joey V at Nadine's Hash House in Soulard. Stel Ponticus, of course, in the studio here as well, just waiting for his Greek omelet from Nadine.
Oh, yes. He's been salivating.
Which we've already told the boss. We're like, okay,
yeah,
you got to deliver it. So
yeah, you're going back to the office. So it's
that's
your
right.
job.
Exactly. We're now joined by Jim. Make sure I get your name right here. Povolis.
Yes.
Jim Povolis.
Yes.
Republican nominee for state representative in the 78th district.
Yes.
Which, and I did not know this till just now. I forgot that that's an open seat.
It is.
So you're not up against an incumbent.
Correct. Rashid Aldridge was the representative. And
right.
When he won his election for the Board of Aldermen,
right,
he basically vacated the seat, and they just chose not to have an election.
Yeah, so they're going to settle that in November here. So, a lot of the things, and this is one of the parts of the growth I have seen in the GOP in the city, is 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago,
not running
the
anybody.
GOP in St. Louis probably wouldn't have even looked at the open seats. Now there are candidates running throughout the city, you being one of them right there. So when you know you're up against, the odds are up, obviously. to say the odds are against you is an understatement, but you know that.
Yeah.
And so when you say, I'm going to get in anyway, I'm going to go ask people to further vote anyway, I want to put, our solutions or your solutions out there anyway, what is it that takes you from something needs to change to I'm going to get on there even if the odds are against me?
Somebody has to step up at some point. It has to be a citizen in the district that wants to see the district change, not somebody that's going to try to become just a political ladder climber, but somebody that wants to fix their neighborhoods, fix the businesses around them, make sure that they're getting the police coverage they need, make sure that somebody actually represents them in Jefferson City, and we just don't see it. We're like I said, my former rep moved to the Board of Aldermen in the city of St. Louis because at some point he probably has ambitions to do something else in the city of St. Louis, maybe even the mayor's office, who knows? But there just isn't enough of us doing it. We're starting to see that shift right now. I'm a firm believer of the pendulum swinging, and I see it swinging backwards. I see people getting fed up with it. They're tired of all the silliness. They want their property values to increase, not decrease. They want their kids to be able to play on the streets, play in the backyards, go to the parks, not worry about, the drugs and all the stuff that, the typical, things you have to deal with. But also, right now we're dealing with the squatting issue, and every open building is a dangerous building now. And it used to not be that way. It used to be just somebody owned a piece of property and they kind of sat on it, let it appreciate, and maintained it a little bit and sold it, and somebody else rehabbed it and went on from there. Now they've all become problem properties. We're just seeing it everywhere. So those kind of things kind of got me involved in it. I've only been involved in politics in the city for about 3 years now. I'm currently the ward committeeman for the Republican Party in this ward. This is where we're at today. I just became state committeeman elect for the 5th Senate district. So I just want to get involved. I want to make change, and I'm a normal guy doing it. And everyone could do that if they wanted to. We just got to get people to engage.
Yeah, and congratulations, or I'm sorry on that election, whichever is most appropriate. Okay.
Now, a lot of political animals, or maybe even people from the consultant class, they would poo-poo this whole idea of spending money and spend time and effort in areas where it's like, well, we won't win. We're better off.
Blue.
It's blue. Just let it go and spend the resources elsewhere.
That's how they win.
What do you say to those people?
That's how they win. Apathy. They don't win because they have a better position. They don't win because they have better ideas. We're obviously seeing what their ideas give us in the city, or in the district, I should say. That's their expectation. It's an entitlement mentality that because we're blue or because we're left of center or left or Democrat, that you're going to go with us anyway. And we need to present other options. It's, I might not be the best option. I think I'm a pretty good option. I'm a normal everyday working guy. I'm going to leave here and I'm going to go to work until 8:30 now. That's what you need. We are of the people, by the people, and for the people. And at local levels, that's where it's the most important. And we just need to get that engagement up.
We're visiting with Jim Povolis, who's running for the state representative 78th district seat. Okay, so let's talk about what state legislature can do. No question. The reality is that in addition to, you've obviously got the Republican Democrat thing, obviously, but the reality is there's also a St. Louis versus the rest of the state thing that happens too. So if you're elected, tell me about the advocacy that you want to see happen and what the state legislature should be doing to address all of those things you just said need to be improved.
Well, a couple of things. First, safety. That's huge here in the city, in this district especially. We're watching businesses flee left and right. We just saw Fleischman Hillman leave yesterday, downtown. They did. That's a building. I don't think most people realize that. They're half of a building downtown. They're gone. They're going to Clayton. If it's not safe, if there's not any kind of economic drivers, there's no reason for them to stay. My thoughts are the police first and foremost. We need to get back to the police board. I mean, I know they meant well and it was a good thought, but historically it worked for the most part. And we're just watching
over the police board.
Yeah. Over the last decade, we've watched it, basically implode and fall in on itself. In my neighborhood, I live in McKinley Heights neighborhood. I used to sit on my front porch on a Saturday. Now I'm 5 minutes from downtown. I can see the arch from my back deck. You would hear crickets, and I'm a second house from the corner. You would see police kind of about every 5 or 10 minutes patrol go by. You don't see them at all now. They're just too busy. There's no patrol. It's respond and react. That's it. That's the biggest one. And then other situations would be maybe some more transparency in City Hall. We have a lot of money right now that's been flowing into City Hall from all kinds of various funds and the CARES Act money and all the COVID money. We're still dealing with that money, and they're wanting to divvy it up and throw it out there like it's just free checks for everybody. And they're just not. There's a lot of waste, and I think that having the state kind of get in there, maybe the audit, they're talking about an audit. I think those things open doors and give us a lot more transparency. We can see what's going on with our money. That's the other big issue for me, I think, is kind of seeing where our money's going. My property taxes go up every year. I don't get anything more for it. I get less for it. So
now, my obligatory question, the top of your agenda, right? The thing that you're passionate about. It sounds as though, and just to kind of preempt my own question, it sounds as though public safety is kind of all
public safety. Yeah,
it's got to be their number one.
Yeah, that's my huge.
What's your number two?
Getting rid of the earnings tax. Huge driver. So. To penalize somebody for working in the city or living in the city and working in it just doesn't fly. If we're spending the money wisely, we don't need to keep squeezing it like we're wringing out a dish rag to get every drop. You know what I mean? There's other ways to earn that money, and one of them is businesses in the city.
Yeah, that was because that's the follow-up question is because I know somebody out there, especially inside the city, they're going to go, okay, but that is X percentage of our budget. If you get rid of that, how do you replace the income is the question that always comes up. So let me channel my inner Tony Messenger and go, well, how are you going to replace all that money?
Small businesses like this one. This is a new business, a relatively new business in Soulard. It's Nadine's Hash House where we're at this morning. Right. Great little business, great food. The more of those we get, the more revenue we earn. As they leave or they decide that they're going to move out. We were just talking earlier about Iron Barley when it moved out. It was a great city restaurant. It moved out into Jefferson County and then it's gone. You know what I mean? But everybody went to that restaurant. It was a a destination restaurant. Those small businesses drive the city, but also losing large businesses like we just did. The state itself is moving out of downtown.
Yeah.
That tells you a lot. That's very telling.
Yeah, and that's as much as somebody wants to yell, that might be a partisan thing. It's not. No, it's really not. And it's gotten to the point where, I mean, we talk a lot about, everything is going wrong in the city. It's not that there aren't good things in the city, and we try to brag about those as well, but we have to be realistic about this. The city of St. Louis is no longer the driver of the region. I will argue and debate that with anybody
sadly
out there. The county, particularly the Clayton area, is what's driving. Clayton and St. Charles, I would say, are the two drivers of the entire region right now. It is no longer the city of St. Louis. And when you have that vacuum that has been created, something's going to fill in there, and you don't like what's going in there.
It's not going to be pretty. Look at the Railway Exchange building downtown,
Right.
the AT&T building downtown. There is real estate for people to park their businesses. They have zero intention of doing it. They have zero desire to do it. And it's because of the climate that we've created in the city as voters. We're kind of kicking our own dead horse here. You know what I mean? We just don't. We need to make change. And the first way to do it is for people like me, regular citizens in the city, to step in and step up.
Okay, so now let me ask the big R, the GOP question. If should you be elected to the legislature, we've got a Republican supermajority that has frustrated conservatives by not getting enough stuff done, especially those big red things that we talk about a lot on the air here, which a term which Gabe coined. What needs to change when it comes to the legislature getting those things done and kind of sewing up those factions that are starting to split apart, and we all see it.
I hate to use the term because I hate to use the term real Republicans,
right?
But we need to, if it's going to be, partisan, they need to be real Republicans. People need to step up for Republican values, Republican goals, and Republican ideals. Follow the platform. We want fiscal responsibility. We want safety and security. We're an American city. We want to be an American state. We want everybody to thrive. It doesn't matter. You mentioned, we're all in this together. Democrats buy shoes. Republicans buy shoes. Brown shoe gone. We used to be a hub for all this stuff. Knickerbocker shoe downtown. And I just use that as an example. But we need to all kind of come together and basically do the job, not fight with each other over who's going to get the credit for the job, or this guy's got his little pet project, or this lady's got her little pet project. We need to all get together and actually do the work. And you're just not seeing it, unfortunately.
And we're not talking about, having beef with people who are 80% our friend. We're actually talking about people who are only 40% Republican.
Right.
It's like, wait a minute, are you actually
Pick a side,
my friend?
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of
Precisely. All right, website, social media. Somebody wants to check in on your campaign, maybe get involved. Who knows?
Yeah, Povolisfrommissouri.com is my website. It's got a links to all my socials, Twitter and Facebook and such. So give me a call. We'll see what we can do.
Jim, thanks so much, man. We'll talk to you again soon.
Me, guys.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, 314-912-1019. All right, just ahead here. Only about a third of Americans say they trust the media. And I've got a real big problem with that, because I want to say to that 1/3, what is wrong with you?
Seriously.
All right, let's go through the numbers and talk about that just ahead right here on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL, live from Nadine's Hash House in Soulard.
I wonder where you are with all your faults. I want to wake up where you are.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Ready to explore the underwater world? Great American Divers, your veteran-owned local scuba center, is making waves with incredible offers. Get $50 off any new open water course when you mention News Talk STL. And mark your calendars. November 8th and 9th is our massive fall sale. Everything in store on sale, plus our huge swap and sale event for quality used gear. Daddy certification, equipment repairs, we've got it all. Our experienced staff is passionate about teaching, and we're the only center in the area with our own indoor heated pool. Visit GreatAmericanDivers.com today. Great American Divers, where adventure runs deep.
Nate Lucas here for the Village Bar in the heart of De Pere. Since 1948, the Village Bar has been the go-to destination for delicious food, cold drinks, and unbeatable atmosphere. Savor their famous wings, burgers, and onion rings, or grab a drink from their fully stocked bar. Catch all the big games and enjoy the company of their friendly staff. Plus, don't miss the 1879 Distillery, a one-of-a-kind experience right next door. The Village Bar offers the best value in town. Find the Village Bar on Facebook and come experience where history meets great times. You'll be glad you did.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-pressure colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss as part of our lineup every week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on News Talk STL. And in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
The Allman Report.
Wednesday on the Allman Report, Jim Carafano on the debacle that is the Ukraine war. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
Jamie Allman. Weeknights at 8 on News Talk STL. News Talk STL. Always streaming on your smart speaker, our mobile app, or newstalkstl.com.
Hi, it's Vic Porcelli.
And Ken.
Hi, Ken.
Hey, Vic.
Ken and I are on every Monday through Friday, 9 to 11, right here on News Talk STL. Right now, you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Whoosh, my morning, people.
And we covered a lot of ground today here out at Nadine's Hash House. By the way, if you run out right now, you can actually meet celebrities like Tim Jones and Chris Arps, who are sitting at the table right behind us, having some breakfast here as well. I'm Mike Ferguson. Got Gabe Piper here. Got Joey V here at Nadine's. And, of course, Stel Ponticus eagerly awaiting his Greek omelet at the studios in Maryland Heights, which we've already told the boss he's got to bring to you. Yes. Okay, so here's the interesting. A new survey came out, and Bob Agnew from Town Hall has the story on this when it comes to trust in the media. And I've got a little bit of a beef with some of the survey respondents here. Here's what the numbers say, just kind of at a top line.
A new Gallup poll reveals that Americans have serious doubts about the news media. 1/3 of those surveyed have no trust at all in the media to report the news fully, accurately, and fairly. And another third of Americans express not very much confidence. According to Gallup, the news media is the least trusted group among civic and political institutions, ranking just below Congress. Greg Clugston, Washington.
So we're looking at about a third of Americans who say, you know what, I think the media tells me the truth and I trust them to bring me information.
Yeah, most of the time.
That's 1 in 3 people who are naive or just stupid.
Yes, absolutely. Look, I've been saying this lately as like if you don't, however much you hate the media, it's probably not enough. Currently, at this point.
When I first got into the business, and I've been in this business, if you take out the time that I left and did other things and then came back to media, my media tenure has been about 28 years now at this point.
Right.
Something like that. And,
I think you count as an OG at this point.
Probably. But, it used to be when you get passionate about your industry, you defend your industry.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, we've got bad apples, but, overall, we are, no. The longer I'm in the business, the more I say, man, this business sucks.
It's like, these people are horrible at their job.
There are a lot of people who just aren't telling the truth. And we see that now. We've also seen the problem, people saying, okay, who is saying what I want to hear to reinforce what I believe, and let me go there, which creates an incentive for those media outlets to figure out what people want to hear and then tell them that regardless of what the truth is. And yes, it does happen on both the right and the left. When you do surveys, Gabe, and people say, I just want somebody to tell the truth objectively and let me decide for myself, most of the time those people are full of crap.
Yes.
They don't want that.
No. What they actually want
Otherwise, C-SPAN's ratings would be crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Because C-SPAN is unfiltered, just straight up. It's like, here is footage of what happened in Congress, as opposed to this particular newscaster's spin on what just happened in Congress. And that's kind of where we are now. Is like, but the thing is, we wanted journalists, we wanted people to be our filters for these things, just because we don't have the time to do this. Yeah. I don't have the time to watch a full C-SPAN session. I'd like somebody whose job it is to watch it and summarize it for me and give me just the facts. But right now they're not doing that, just the facts portion.
So when we created this radio station about 3.5 years ago, the bosses who put this together, they said, okay, here's what we're going to do: life through a conservative lens.
Yes.
I am not a journalist anymore.
Yeah. That's not what we do.
A good close to half my career at this point was journalism. And then I moved into the talk opinions. I do not pretend to be a journalist. Now, I will try to give you all of the facts as hard and cold as whatever those facts are. Then I'm going to talk about them through my conservatarian lens.
Exactly.
So,
and it going in.
Right.
That's part of it.
And as much as I hate to say it, every once in a while, our side isn't completely right about something.
What did you just say?
Now, that doesn't mean the other side is right about something.
Right. But we're human and we get things wrong. That's basically what
a lot of times, the difference sometimes, because tribalism gets in there, partisanship gets in there.
Sure.
But when people say, a third of the people say, I believe the media I believe that the media is telling me the truth. What media are you watching?
Yeah. That's really the question. Sometimes you talk to people and you're like, where did you hear that?
Right, exactly.
It's like,
I get that all
the
the time.
Remotely true.
I mean, my goodness.
Yeah.
So that just cracks me up whenever I see that.
Yeah.
That sort of poll, and I just keep thinking, a third, 1 in 3 believes the media.
It should be 10%, because at least 10% at every poll believe something crazy.
Probably 1 in 10 people in this country are nuts.
Yes, 1 in 10 people believe we didn't land on the moon, and the Loch Ness Monster has lunch with Elvis at Tupac's eatery in
when they should have been eating here at Nadine's Hash House.
Yeah, what's wrong with them?
Precisely, exactly. All right, we got Vic Porcelli coming your way here just ahead. Appreciate everybody coming out, man. We got a couple chairs left, but there's room for you to come get some coffee and omelets and pancakes here. Come on out and join us at Nadine's Hash House.
Tim Jones here with Eric from Newsteaders. Eric, believe it or not, the holidays are right around the corner. What are y'all doing over at the jewelry store?
Wow. Well, first I want to say, don't let fine and fine jewelry confuse you. We have pieces starting at $100 that will keep your loved one happy for a lifetime and look like you spent thousands. And don't forget, Christmas is only a few months away. Get started early. We also have a wish list to ensure your loved one gets exactly what they want. And we're also bringing back a layaway program to make your life easier. Newsteaders Fine Jewelry is truly where honesty and integrity meet. We're all about quality at a fair price. Our goal is to guarantee that the gift you give will be loved for a lifetime. Come in and meet our professional staff that will put your needs above all else. There's never any pressure here, just an attentive family that listens and educates you to ensure you're completely happy and the gift you give is perfect.
Experience that fantastic Newsteaders difference today at wowdiamonds.com. Newsteaders Fine Jewelers, wowdiamonds.com.
Hi, Chris Arbs here. Join me and the team at Royal Banks of Missouri for their annual Economic Forecast Breakfast. The event takes place on Tuesday, November 19th at the factory in the district in the Chesterfield Valley. You'll hear from their experts and get a better understanding of what to expect from the U.S. economy in 2025